or all kind of places where, um, people just didn't do anything. They kind of like folks in Florida, when they get those hurricane warnings, they just kind of hunker down wherever they're at.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be okay. Sometimes
unless it's not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a weather addict, so my first temptation is absolutely to go and look. So
yeah,
but if I've got straight line winds above 50, I'm burying myself. So
sure.
Oh,
yeah, if the trees are starting to bend over and it's time to hide. So
Danny, what is that on your head?
I was going to ask you that, Brenda. It sure looks like he made the crew.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, thankfully, it wasn't a turning related.
zip drive.
Rolling pins he made it.
I'm guessing he got up too fast from the chair and whacked something.
Well, it's one of the unfortunate things with my back the way it is. I get serious nerve twinges, and so I was down getting something out of the bottom of my tool chest and had a nerve spike, and lurched right forward into one of my open drawers and made a nice little gouge.
Drawers are sharp on the edge.
Feeling for you. I feel you, man.
I got cabinets I have to watch like that. Metal cabinet doors. Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it was. Metal tool chest
Keep them
drawer.
closed.
Right, except for when you're in them.
Yeah, true. Right.
Right. Yeah, I never know when that's going to happen. So, and it happens all the time throughout the day.
We'll have to get you a hard hat.
That's what my wife says. Yeah, my head's all gouged up, scarred up from it from the last 5-6 years since I've been having a deteriorated spine. So
I feel for you, but I've learned how to fall pretty good. Not that you got to practice, but I'm learning. Don't try to put the brakes on because my fat butt's going down.
right.
But getting back up is a problem.
Yeah, it's never fun.
Oh, give me a chair. People say, "Here, give me a hand." No, give me a chair.
Hey, Billy.
Thankfully, there's a lot of hard, stable things in the shop to help.
Yeah.
Billy.
I have to.
Yes, sir.
Stages.
I was trying to call you at the end of, I guess it was the end of last week, the beginning of this week.
I was going to call you back, but I could not get my head above water at my house. It's just kind of a mess.
I'm looking at you. That's a NeJe, right?
A NeJe.
Okay, and what do you have? The 30-watt laser?
Well, I cannot remember when I purchased it. I think I purchased it with a 7-watt. But if I had to make a recommendation to someone, it would be purchase it with the higher wattage because you get a better deal on it. And if you decide to buy another module, the higher wattage one is the most expensive one. So the lower ones are much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's over $100 for that 20-watt module right now. I think it's like $60 for the small one.
The problem is, I was talking to Nancy about those things because I just ordered one.
I lost you.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
I think you lost him. I think he's probably still talking away. I don't catch any. I didn't catch any of it.
Okay. Joe Huck tells us from Kansas. He's got 80-mile-an-hour winds in Kansas.
He's back.
I'm talking. Are y'all hearing me?
All right.
What you were saying.
Okay.
We lost all of it.
Oh, okay. I was telling you, I was talking to Nancy this week, and you start looking at these things and you say, okay, it's a 30-watt module. But then after you start looking at it closer, reading, actually, it's only a 7.5-watt beam.
Yeah, the diode module, laser diode modules, these particular kind are rated on input power, not output power.
Yeah, and I asked her why. She says, well, that's the Chinese way of
Yeah.
rating something, you know?
But the bigger the number, the more power. And a 7 watt for everything that we do, a 7 watt is more than enough power. The only
Okay.
reason I got the 20 is because the 20 has a 100% duty cycle. So you can engrave at 100% power nonstop, and it will not deteriorate the life of the laser.
Well, but what I'm
That's
saying,
important, you know. That's the only reason I did it.
what I'm saying is I got the 30, but it's, when it all boils down, it's not a 30. It winds up being a lot less than that.
Yeah, you got more than enough power. The
Well,
only thing you got to understand is it's like a pencil lead, like a mechanical pencil. They come in different size leads, and the bigger the power, the bigger the lead. So
push the camera over there by yours. Did you make that stand, or what is it?
It's just, I've just got it sitting there for video purposes because I've been told that there may be a demo tonight. So I've got it set up. I've got it set up so it's the right height to give as good a video picture as possible.
But where
You know,
did
that's
you
the
get
only reason
that
it's setting up on
stand?
that. This blue?
Yeah.
About the blue part, that's actually the NeJe Master Laser Rotary Jig. It's one step up from the pin jig. It's actually made to do cups and I forgot Yeti cups and stuff. So it'll actually anything that you can think of, you can actually put it on and engrave it. So it costs about twice as much, but it's like the only thing that limits me now is my imagination. But it comes with a bunch of stuff, okay? All kinds of foam pieces. So you can put any size on there. These are expandable, so if you put it inside of something, it's going to hold it tight. It comes with a bunch of wheels, you know, different size wheels. Of course, these are all set up for Yeti, so they fit a Yeti. But then the beauty of it is that you can just make your own wheel because you have this thing at home called a lathe. So you just put a 1/4-inch hole in there, and you can make any size wheel you want.
Oh, look,
That's the
Ronnie's
beauty of it.
segment at
That's
work.
the beauty of it. Yeah, so it's like it allows you, you know, plenty of flexibility. And that's the reason I got it, you know.
What I'm talking about, you got it elevated. You know,
that came with it. That came with the Yeti tumbler kit, because the Yeti is going to be big. You know, the Yeti's going to be big, so you need that clearance off the ground. So it came with that. It makes it a little cumbersome as far as doing a pin, but it works. You know. But the basic, the pin one is shorter. You know, it's not as tall. So
are you guys doing any cutting with this? Is it all engraving?
Well, that's the reason. The reason I got the 20 is I wanted to experiment with some cutting because it's supposed to be able to cut like 3 mil plywood, and
Gotcha.
I did cut a couple of pieces, but I don't have an air assist for it, so I don't have anything to blow the dust away, so that limits how deep it will cut. But it will cut 3 mil because I cut it.
I've cut some 5 mil, and it does require air assist.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Nancy, she pointed out the air assist is going to allow you to cut a lot deeper.
Yeah, it cleans the soot out, and it also keeps your lens clean, because that's as important. If your lens gets sooted up, then your power goes down considerably.
And how are you cleaning your lens? With a Q-tip?
I don't have to clean mine because I have a little small fan that I run right next to it, and it blows everything away.
Okay.
So I rarely have to mess with it. I have a little small fan that I set up. In fact, it looks a lot like this one. I just set it up and it runs and blows everything away.
Good.
I don't do any super deep engraving, you know.
How do you deal with the smoke in the room?
I don't really have any smoke. I don't engrave that deep in a lot of stuff, so I really don't have any smoke. I have a small odor. This is a small not outdoor, but a small office that I have here. So when when I'm engraving, if it's not 90 degrees, I just open the door. My room is only 10 by 10. So if I open the door and turn the ceiling fan on and this fan here, it's all out the door.
I know what you're talking about, Matt, Billy, because I was engraving today on my machine and I just put my table near the window and I got a little 6-inch fan from Walmart blowing out the window.
Yeah.
And my wife says, "What are you doing back there?" You know, because I changed shirts before we went to eat lunch, dinner, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt like I was smoky. She didn't think so.
No, it got inside your nose hairs and you can't get that smell out. That's all.
Billy, are you controlling yours by Bluetooth?
I have done some engraving that way. We'll talk about that tonight. I'm gonna show that little app on my phone, but yeah, I don't particularly like it because I don't have as much control over it. I mean, on the computer, I'm able to hit my up down arrows and move my artwork on the canvas. I think 0.5 millimeter at a time is the lowest setting, or maybe even lower than that. I'm not sure. I haven't. Usually, I keep it at 1 millimeter. Let's see. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to see any of that or not, but I think it's set at
moving.
I think it's set at a 1 millimeter. So I'm able to move everything in a control. There's a lot of little tricks, but see, there's no manual on how to use this thing. It's like you pretty much on your own when you get it. It's very simple to use, but you can kind of use, like if you're engraving a square object, you can run whatever you're going to engrave right up to the edge of your work, and that way you know you're straight. You can let it run on the edge, and then once you know you're straight, then you move it back to the center of where you want to engrave it at. That's half the battle, and centering your work on your piece you're going to engrave. You know, there's a little bit of math involved. You know, so you got to divide the extra distance by 2 and offset it on each side.
A lot of that also depends upon the software you're using, exactly how to do it.
Yeah, I tried using some aftermarket software. I was never able to get it to work, and I'm not completely computer illiterate, but the learning curve on it was horrible. I never could get Lightburn to work. Lightburn is supposed to be like the premier software. I tried, and
I love it. Lightburn is so easy for me.
I can tell you
once you use it, you know.
I know why Lightburn doesn't work for you, Billy. You got that damn silver computer, just like I do.
Probably so.
And Lightburn will not talk to my
This is
MacBook
Windows
Pro.
here. This is my Windows. That's the only reason I still have Windows.
I use Windows with Lightburn. Works just fine.
I try using it
was never
on
able
Mac,
to
and
do
it just.
But yeah,
Hey,
I
Billy?
just got my table in 2 days ago, so I haven't really used it yet. But
Is that the 4-inch or the 6-inch?
I think mine's an 8-inch.
8. I bought the wrong one when I bought.
I measure.
mine.
I don't know. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drop some links in the chat. How does that sound?
Oh, everybody'd love that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, well, you know,
too
too late now, Billy. I bought the wrong one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
Hey, Billy.
For the rest of us for making the mistake, Eddie.
Well, you know, like I care, really.
Let's see if
We
I
care
can figure
about
out how
you.
to
We don't
drop
want
these
you to
in the
make
chat.
mistakes. Come on.
Let's see.
Mine's so cute. First thing my wife said about it, so cute. It's a tool. It's cute.
That sounds like
When is
approval
the
from
tool cute?
management.
Your feet aren't cold?
Leave it up.
I don't know if I will drop it in. I'll try anyway. How do you put something in the chat? You can just drag it and drop it?
No, you
I,
got to
co- I copy and
copy and
paste.
paste it
Oh, Lord.
or
Okay.
type it the
That's-
hard way.
There's got to be a better way on Mac. There's no copy and paste on a Mac.
Yeah, there is.
There is? Yeah, I don't know.
Control V.
Mac C, Mac V.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Mac C to
goodness.
copy, Mac V to paste.
Mac. I don't have no Mac key.
Well, it's a little thing that looks like 4 circles with lines or whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
It's kind of weird.
That's too
Oh,
confusing.
command.
No.
Oh, goodness.
Don't feel so bad now.
No, I've converted to Mac, but I haven't done a lot of things with a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's on your head then, Billy.
Yeah.
I believe it won't let me drop that in there. It looks like it wants to, but it won't.
Yeah.
So how big is that table? That jack table?
It's 8-inch.
8 by 8?
If you're using a mouse, you'll right click on it and you can copy it and then right click and paste it.
I don't know if we can do certified on priority.
I don't know. It highlights it, but then after that, I do not know what to do with it.
If you
I can
had
tell you I'm
Windows,
on an iPad.
if you had Windows, you wouldn't have that issue.
If I had Windows, I'd have a lot more issues than that. There's not many things. There's not many things that I'll put up an argument with, but I'll put up that argument with you. I had some major issues with Windows over the years.
You got all of that.
Battle of the operating systems, is it?
The freaking Apple is just Apple is so stable, so stable.
A priority. I mean, it might be $20, $30. I'm sure you
Yeah,
want.
also use Linux.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Mm,
Oh well, I don't know. See, I went to the trouble of saving all these links and put them in a little file folder and had them all setting here where I could drag them and drop them into the chat.
Well, we know you're gonna get around to it, but in the meantime,
Yeah.
let's tell everybody it's a little bit after 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and
Okay.
you're tuned in to worldwidewoodturners.org, and we're here for you this evening. If you want to show something in gallery, our gallery master is Dane Chandler, and he'll be watching the chat. So when you have something to show, write in the chat and say, I have something to show, and Dane will get it. And when Dane calls on you, one thing, start talking. If he says, hi, Bob, you got this, Bob, start talking. Because with we're looking at a mishmash screen, and until you talk, it doesn't get highlighted, and we can't find you. So let's do that. We'll have challenge in a little bit. We're going to have a great demonstration tonight by Billy Dillard on the laser, the laser engraver or augmenter. Well, it depends on how you phrase it. We're gonna have a little demonstration on that. I've got one. Ronnie ordered one. I think there's a handful of other folks in the club that have one, and we'll get input from all of you. It's open forum, okay? The only thing I ask you is to be kind, be civil, no vulgarity, and no politics. If you don't like what somebody did, offer what you can do differently, but let's not downplay whoever offered it first. We're not judging jury, we're just in the goal box. And folks, if you're joining us tonight, we're turners. If you don't know about this, we have a contact sheet. It's not a membership list because we shy away from membership lists and rosters and all that stuff because it's very unimportant to us. But like Ronnie said, he was calling Billy. He got Billy's phone number off the contact list. It's open. You can put anything you want in the contact list. Your name, your address, your phone number, your email, your website, whatever you wish. No commercial contact, please. But all you need to do is go over to chat and put contact list and then put the information in the chat, all you want. Our webmaster, David, will look at that tonight or tomorrow. He'll take those notes and put them in our contact list. Now, when he publishes the chat to the website, it will not have those links in it. We don't want to put this out to the GP. It's just not where we want to go. If you want a copy, you go to our website, contact, there's a thing that says contact list, do that, and then follow the instructions on the screen exactly. And it'll email you the most recent version of the contact list. And it changes all the time because people put stuff in almost every week. And if you are watching a replay of this meeting, you can't do that, right? Okay, just email it to us at the club email or the club email address, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, or on our website, there's a contact thing, fill that out, and we'll put it on there. It's a handy way to find members, but remember, I started out with, it's informal. You don't have to do this to be a member of the club or participate or show or anything else. Our rule book is very thin, and remember, it's be kind, no vulgarity, et cetera, and we have that no but guarantee. If you show something, nobody can say, I like that but. See that but doesn't belong there. I like that. Don't, because we're not judge and jury here. We're doing that. We're going to have a little brief safety information in a little while for you, and our challenges. I mean, our demos. We've got a great line of demos for you. We're booked all the way to mid to late January right now. That's right,
Mid-February.
Girls.
Mid-February.
Mid-February. Dane Chandler lines those up for us, and does a wonderful job at this. He really does. You want to do a demonstration for us? If you own an iPhone, you can do it. In fact, you can do it through the Zoom contact while you're, okay, we can send you YouTubes on how to do it, but it's out there. It's easy to do. I gave up all my cameras and went to using my iPad for my camera base now for videos. Number one, I can see the screen a lot better from across the room, and I can do it. I got a remote and a Zoom thing and all that. So it's the changing of the world. All right. Dane, do we have some signups for a gallery right now?
Yeah, I believe we do. Let's go to Gary in Oklahoma.
Hello there. I have made a few trees that we did recently. So, there you go. This was the very first one that I did. It was done out of maple.
Bring it over here. It's out of screen. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I got to remember where my camera is, in fact, because I watch on a monitor that's slightly off from where it was. Anyway, this was the first one I did. Then I did a second one, and I put a cross on the top of it. And last week, Sunday school, we had a get-together and Dirty Santa. And I had done one of these, and I had dyed it green. And the cross, I painted a gloss white. And boy, oh boy, that Dirty Santa, everybody wanted it. It was something else. So I have now made a couple more, and oh darn, I was going to bring another one in that I finished today, and when I was doing it, I lost the cross, or lost the top. So, but anyway, I'm going to be doing several more of them, and I do. Of course, I don't have it right now because these are not finished yet, but I burn what it is. These were maple, and I burned those onto it. And coming up, there's a couple of things that I might add on that table. I've got a table also, and when I'm doing something like this, how do you set that on the table and keep it upright and flat? Well, we have a newspaper, daily newspaper, and they've got these plastic bags that are kind of like tubes. And a long time ago, I had bought a large bag of popcorn, which we don't use anymore. We use the little packets. So I filled those bags up with popcorn, tied the top off, and I think I've got like 6 of them. And so you can stick those bags on the stand, and you can raise it to wherever you want, and those bags of popcorn will move. Same thing as like a bean bag. And so if you've got something that's irregular or anything like that that won't stand properly, so that you can position it when you do then engrave it. So just another hint. There's lots of different things we can do. But that's it.
That's a
Thank
good
you,
idea.
Gary. Great, good information night while we're doing the gallery. You have something to show, we're gonna do that. Here's my plan, is at 7 o'clock, we will do the video gallery, and it got lengthy this week. Thank you so much. So right now, we're gonna go back to our live and direct gallery.
All right, so let's go to Clint Hoyle. Hey, Clint.
Clint, you're up, sir.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, I got my dad trained pretty well over the past couple of years of turning. So when he called me and said he lost half of his Brantford pear tree in a storm, he knew what to do. Start cutting, start sealing up those ends with some Type Bond. That works pretty well.
Yep.
If you don't want to afford anchor seal or whatever that is. Anyway, turned out this little
I
vessel.
like the grain, I love that.
Oh, I know.
Gorgeous.
Like the bark?
Yeah.
I
Nice.
ended up going a little bit too deep.
Yeah, got a little thin, huh?
I stopped just in time.
There you go.
What's your wood on that, Clint?
It's Bradford pear.
Ah, thank you.
Gotta love turning that stuff.
Yeah, the layers of the bark are really beautiful in this thing.
Very nice.
Your backdrop note is killing the video. a little.
Yeah, it's kind
Pull
of
it back
messy.
towards you and it won't double. There you go.
Not really finished polishing
see the
it yet,
bottom?
but it's still beautiful.
That's probably a good tip for everybody, Captain. The closer you have what you're showing to your face, the better it's gonna look.
Yeah.
What did you finish that with?
So far, just linseed oil.
Oh, okay.
I still plan to put it on the lathe some more and spin it around a little bit more, polish it. I gotta
That's
do it.
great.
Bottom?
Pardon?
Can we see the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
Not
Still got
done.
Just a
Still got
tenon.
a tenon.
Yeah.
You can use that to remount it.
Yeah, I remember my last lesson about doing a spindle-oriented one with a recess. It did not go well.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Especially on
Yeah, this-
green.
It's
They like
the
to
ditto.
split.
All right, thank you, Clint. Great looking work tonight, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
All right, well, we are worldwide, so let's go across the pond here. And Paul, what's happening, buddy?
Talk to us, Paul.
Paul Hannaby. He was on here.
Sleep on us.
Yeah, I was just having a problem with the camera. Just give me a sec.
Oh, okay.
Right.
OBS.
Back now.
There he is.
Well, hopefully it's back now. Yeah, that's better.
There he is.
Okay. All good, yeah.
Got you spotlighted now.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to show you. One is from that last demo, that snowman. I finished off the black dots, which was that dimensional paint. If I hold it like that, you can sort of see.
Oh yeah,
dots just
how
sticking
it
out.
puffs out.
But yeah, I left that till the following day and then hit it with a hot air gun to swell it up. When you do that, it's almost like popcorn. It sort of swells up and inflates.
That is so cool. I've never
that's the
seen that.
finished one.
That looks good. That's awesome, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of do the little black dots to look like coal. So if they're a little bit rough around the edges, that's all part of the plan. But I got that one, and I've also got a bowl. I finished this at the weekend. This one's ash, and there's some really nice figuring in it. On this side, you can see there's a lot of ripple figuring in it, and in the other side, there's a lot of sort of quilting and sort of flame figure in it. So
Oh yeah.
That looks nice. I like it.
All right, don't anybody get Brenda started. I see some figures in there.
Oh yeah, I
So
see a
that's,
clown at
that's
the
finished
bottom.
with the food.
I
says
just
food,
saw
so
Rose.
that
That was
could
big.
be a
That was
salad
Big
bowl,
Bird.
that one.
Big Bird's in the bottom.
That was a rose on the bottom.
On the bottom of that.
That's Big Bird.
That's it
Yeah,
right there.
Paul, don't feed him. Don't feed him fire. Please don't feed him fire.
But yeah, that's finished with the food stage finished, so that could be a salad bowl.
Great.
There you go. Nice.
Thank you, sir. Great
Thanks,
seeing
Paul.
you again.
Thank you.
That's
Right.
from United Kingdom, folks. And Australia's tuned in right now also.
Two
And we've
in the
got them
morning.
all over the place. We're waiting for our Canadian contact to come in. Do we have somebody else? There we are.
Oh yeah. We got Mr. Hatch.
Nice shirt.
You're muted, Tim.
Yep.
There you go.
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening?
Doing good.
Doing
Well,
wonderful.
My wife put me to task this week. She said, Christmas is coming, and so basically, she said I need a bunch of pins. So I turned 6 slimline pins. I know you could only see 5, but there's actually the 6th was walnut. It's blending in with the bowl. But my first time turning the slim lines, I was having a problem with it because, you can't press those damn things in, those darn things in without having some type of press. And being the poor boy that I am, mom only gives me a couple $100 a month every now and then. And I got to buy my own chow when I'm out and about. So that doesn't go very far, especially with a fat boy like me. But I went online and looked up pressing pins on your lathe and came across this guy by the name of Bob with RJB wood turning, and he's got a ton of videos on pins. And like Eddie's always saying, it's a way to improve your game by pin turning. So what he made was these little deals that go inside your lathe. One has a hole in the center of it. That way your tip of your pin goes into it, and then the other is flat on the other side. And you just crank it in your headstock and tailstock. And it's made out of this stuff called Delvin, or if I got that right, Delrin. So 1 inch by 12 inch piece is what I started with. And then I got that on Amazon. I think it was about $15 or something. I know I could have gone to one of those box stores like Rockler or Woodcraft or something, but I'm 50 miles away from them places. So that's a trip to town I don't want to take if I don't have to.
How do you spell that? Delrin?
Delrin, D-E-L-R-I-N is the name of it. It's a plastic polymer. I want to say it has something to do with 3D printing, but I may be off on that. I'm not sure. It makes great bushings. It's super hard, but it's not fragile like some acrylics are. So that worked out a whole lot better than the Corian that I used for a soft touch one time. But while I was cranking that in on my son's Excelsior lathe, I had a problem with the tailstock. Apparently, last time he was using it, he backed the screw out and it got cockeyed. So, of course, that got jammed up. So I had to put it in my jet. So I'm in the process of tearing up his little pin turning lathe that he left up here with me. Then one of the other things I was working on this week was a vase made out of, and it's nowhere close to being done yet. This little puppy popped off my lathe at about 900 RPM or so, and of course got a nice crack in it. So I'm in the process of repairing that and need to build a steady rest. So that leads to my question on the steady rest is, I have a 1221 jet. What size do you recommend the steady rest be? I got the skateboard wheels in today to build that, but what would you recommend the maximum diameter be for the inside of that steady rest when I build it?
Well, I'd build it for your overall swing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I go for
yeah.
the, that's a 1221. I'd be 12 clear between the wheels.
Yep.
As
Right.
big as you can make it.
Okay.
Tim,
Well,
Tim,
well, close
Tim,
between the wheels.
have
Max
you
it
heard
out.
of, have you heard
Right.
of something called a string steady?
I haven't heard of it, but I'll look it up and check it out.
Basically, it's a simple steady rest made out of plywood, and you use a wax piece of string instead of wheels.
Okay.
I use it to do long finials with on my 1221 VS. So
Okay. A spring
fact,
steady. Oh,
string, S-T-R-I-N-G. I'll put a link in chat to one.
okay.
How to build one.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are having trouble hearing me. Sorry, guys. I'll try to speak up.
Hey, appreciate it, Matt.
Okay, Jim,
And one other point of interest, I don't know, got a bunch of pen turners out there and such. Many years ago, Eddie, you put out a cheap 12-cent pen, and I'm not sure if everybody knows this or not, but they now make a kit that you can use that Bic refill inside. Again, I'm not sure if anybody knows this or not. I'm new at turning pens. It's the Icon pen kit from, I believe it's Penn State Industries. But that use your 12-cent refill, comes in a box like that. I don't know, the wife bought that about 30 bucks or something. But that's all I got. I appreciate everybody's.
How many of those come in a box?
Honestly, don't know. Oh, it's a 5-piece starter set, so that's not worth my time there, but it does have the tips. So it's got the little cap and they're different color, and then the
please,
tip
lift it.
that you, and then of course the brass tube.
Put it in front of your face. There you go.
There you go.
Up higher. There we go.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I
you
didn't know
got
they made a kit.
got the tip that your ballpoint pen refill goes into. You got the cap, and then you have the end cap that goes on the end of the brass tube. So it looks like a, when you're done, it looks like that pen that's on the inside there. But you can do different colored woods or whatever. And she was interested in seeing how that's going. So
They're fun, and I'm going to do the 12-cent pen over. I got some new ideas on it. I'm waiting for the muscle to move my equipment in. Just now, Matt says stuff about a string steady. Now, I went to a class with Ellie Eversera, and it was maybe 15 years ago or more, and he was using a string steady that he put into his tailstock. And I've got one in the shop. I'm going to bring it in and show you. But it's a block, it's cord, it's got 4 nails and a piece of string, and you scissor, you go through it. There's no magic to it except waxed, that's right, waxed string. And it'll steady up. Say you're having a problem with a finio because it's getting a little wapaloppy on you. This will steady it up and you get rid of the wapalop, and you also get a smoother, even cut. So we'll show you how to do that. So one of the tips we're going to do for our members.
sounds good.
I'm looking for that. I got to make that note. I'm looking for information like that from all of our members. If you've got an idea how something we made, put, done, and all that, I'd be interested in it. I built a nice big steady rest for my lathe, but I failed to understand that the wheels have to be on the same plane. And if one of them's got a slight twist to it or bend to it, it'll create harmonics through the whole thing, and it'll start jumping. That's when I learned the best use for a crescent wrench. Just bend the heck out until it gets right. But we'll show you those tips and hints, and that's what we do here at worldwidewoodturners.org. Keep in mind, it's your club.
Hey, Eddie,
go ahead,
I
Dave.
got one last comment if I could before I pop off.
Sure.
I've got a location some people may be interested in. It's called the Shop Scope.com abrasives. They've got everything from abrasives, resins, casting stuff, all kinds of different things like that. I'll put the link in the bottom, but the wife she does gourds and that type of thing. So she's interested in different pigments, inks, burrs, all that stuff's at this place. Of course, it's in New York, so maybe more accessible to, other locations or whatever, but just another resource out there in case somebody wants to order some different stuff. And I'll put that I'll put that down in the chat.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
All right, that's all I got. Thanks.
Let me mention here, and I'm not fussing at Tim. Our thing about that is you can say you used it, et cetera, et cetera. We'd like that link to go right into the chat. And because we're not owned by anybody and we don't endorse anybody and we're not financed by anybody, but I don't want to make anybody mad about it. So we share the information in chat. Just dump it in there if you've got it. And that's how we do it here, to share information. Who else do we have, Dane?
Well, we got Gordon over at Alamo Wood Turners.
Uh-oh, Gordon's in trouble in the house.
Hey, welcome all. Like everybody, we're making Christmas things. I like to show a pen. I don't know if you can
pull it back towards your face, Gordon. There we are.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's a bunch of reds and greens. It's a blank made by Eugene Soto from Mutt Blanks. And what's interesting is it comes transparent as the more you take off anyway. And I started working with the colors to paint the tube. I did one in white, one in dark green, one in light green, and one in light pink. And it's amazing how the pens change colors. I've given away the other ones before tonight, so I can't show it, but this one's a gift as well. But it's on a Sierra, a special Sierra pen, but I just like the colors in it.
It's really
also
nice.
Main thing I got tonight is I had a bunch of mesquite laying around, and I'm starting to play and get rid of it. And I made a box. Really not just a basic box, but I started playing with circles, and it's got a ring. We call it
captive.
Yeah, right, and it's just kind of neat to add that into it. I hadn't done one of those for a long time, and it's just a simple box. Got a Christmas ornament inside of it, and it's just some scrap again. But it's kind of pretty, and it's got a ring on it also. I've gotten fascinated with the rings, so that's one of them I made.
Very good.
That's very nice.
And the last thing is rings still fascinate me. So I've got a pin that has a ring on it also.
Now, Gordon, you're just showing off now.
Got a built-in fidget spinner.
That's what we're supposed to do here, ain't it?
Anyway, that's what I've got tonight. I appreciate showing
Great
it.
work, bud.
Great
work.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
All right. Mansfield, Texas. Bob Grinstead. Hey, Bob.
All right. Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We got you.
Okay, good. I've got another basket of losers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How you
Let's
get
see
your
if we can
eyeballs
get it where
on
you can
cross?
see it. And of course, I did have a little problem. I got to the end of it, and when I was trying to cut it off, part the thing off, well, I forgot, instead of taking it off and cutting it off with a bandsaw, I was trying to cut it off. Of course, it tore, and when it did, it tore right through the bottom.
Oh, dear.
So I got to plug it. But at least the plug looks exactly like the rest of it. It was a spalted piece, and I just kept whatever was still on the lathe and turned the plug for it, so it worked out fine. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it looks real nice. That's pretty.
Well, thanks.
Real nice.
You're going to see that, folks, in tonight's gallery. It's we added to the gallery. It'll be the newsletter and on our website. It's a beautiful piece of work.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Bob.
That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, well, let's go to Jim Selby.
With the Navy. You're quiet, Jim. You're still quiet.
Okay, now I'm talking.
All right.
This is a bowl that I made. It's found on the side of the road again. And I made it deep enough that the wife's going to put candle wax in it and make a candle out of it. It's finished with Watco lacquer. And I also wanted to say that we had the zoo lights at the Jacksonville Zoo this weekend. And I turned out there, we have our wood turning club has a demo out there, and we turn things to give to the kids. And I turned about 40 tops between Saturday and Sunday.
You're probably the happiest man. You made kids happy.
Hey, we made a bunch of them. They were the line was in front of us all night long.
Yeah, I bet.
It was all fun. And he showed that pen press. I showed it a few weeks ago, and I made mine out of just pieces of maple. And that's what I use for pressing pens all the time.
Yeah. I make mine out of what I call soft touch. And it works. I use a piece of hardwood for that one. It works great.
Yeah,
in fact, I don't want
to press my pens with.
I have used it, waxed it, and used it for a steady rest on finials. But that's coming up. I shouldn't have kept my hat there. But we're going to show you that. Thank you, Jim. Beautiful.
I actually like pressing pins on my lathe better than I do the pin press I have. So
my pen press can be a pain. I got one.
Yeah, they're kind of a pain in the butt.
Jim's here. Hey, James. Your turn. You're talking.
Okay, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got a piece of olive wood from SWAT last year and just made a little vase out of it for Christmas gifts.
Oh, very nice.
Gorgeous.
It's got about 6 coats of spray-on lacquer on it.
Really pretty.
That is gorgeous.
Came out really nice. I'm hoping that guy that was at SWAT last year was there again. He had a ton of olive wood.
Well, word will get around. We'll get it there.
Yeah.
Good price too.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Real good price. Well, that's what I've got. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, James.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Take care. James talking about SWAT. SWAT is probably there's no probably, in my opinion, I've been to all of them. It's the best symposium I've ever been to. It's like going to family you really like. And we have a lot of members. And I see in the stack tonight that I've met or chatted with or visited with or heard from SWAT. And it's the last full weekend of August. And next year it'll be back in Waco Convention Center. It is a great, great show. And it's not a braggadocious show. If you got a question for a turner on a demonstrator, you can walk right up and ask them. Not doing a demonstration, but later on, you just find them and they talk to you. They help you out. It's great. And the sales, lumber, tools, equipment, all the best in the world are there. And they're all out to meet you and talk to you and help you. All right, we're back. We're still doing gallery. In a few minutes, we're going to do our safety presentation from Jeff Schnell, and we'll do our gallery at 7 o'clock. Who's up next, Dane?
Well, we've got one of your partners in crime down there.
Uh-oh.
He says he wants to show something. Ronnie, don't
All
go
right.
away.
Don't raise up too high, Ronnie. The fan will get you.
All right, here I am. It's Christmas time, and you can't always turn something for Christmas. So my grandson asked me to do this for him.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it looks nice, Ronnie.
Yeah, so
I love it.
That's great.
Okay.
So
I'm-
Ronnie,
it's
you're gonna turn all
mahogany.
the chess and checker pieces to go on it?
It's mahogany, maple, and walnut.
Great.
I think,
Beautiful.
Very nice.
I think
What's your
Gene asked the
finish?
question.
What's your
But
finish?
your next project is gonna be to turn all the pieces to go with?
No, I bought the pieces to set on.
That's really nice, Ronnie.
Smart man.
Now you can take that, turn it into one of them one board bowls.
Ah,
That's
So-
nice cheese board.
yeah, so
Does he play checkers or chess or both?
Yes.
he plays chess, but he likes and I can play checkers with him. I don't know nothing about chess.
Well, so I one of the things I've talked about is combining the scroll saw work with the wood turning work. And on the scroll saw website that I like to go to, Steve Goodman's scroll saw workshop, he's got 3D chess set pieces that you can make on your scroll saw. And it's really, really cool. I made a couple of pieces. I've never made a complete set, but I've messed around with the pieces. But if you go check out his website, you might make your boy some chess pieces. They're kind of neat.
Maybe that'll be for next year, huh?
And you can make them really easy out of pen blanks.
Good.
Even if you
Well,
even if you make your chess pieces on the lathe, you still have to use some sort of cutting mechanism to make the knight.
Right.
So there's room for both scroll saw and lathe work on chess pieces. I mean, you could make the base of all the pieces on the lathe and then put it on the scroll saw and get crazy with the tops if you wanted to.
Well, maybe Mom will have to buy me a scroll saw.
Front row. Hey,
Well, if
Mom
you
is like
start
one
now,
race.
you could turn him 2 pieces for his birthday every year.
If
The
one
Santa
of them
Claus
lived
could
that
get just the
long, I'm
one
not
you
sure
wanted.
which one would go first.
I could make the pieces look like birdhouses, and that would make Bob happy.
That's right.
Hey,
Right.
Ronnie, just tell her it's for the kids and she'll buy it for you.
Well,
Right.
that's what happened. I came home and I
That's
got
how the laser got bought.
a friend of mine had a laser, so I used it when I came home. She said, "Go ahead and get that. I like that." So
Very good.
No problem, gorgeous.
Once you figure out how to make coasters out on a laser engraver, then she's hooked.
That's it.
There
That's
you- what's that, coasters? Yeah. Yeah, well, coasters are easy, huh, Billy?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brenda, did you see a tiger on that?
Oh,
I told you
big-
about stoking the
yeah,
fire.
big-
Don't stoke the fire.
Y'all
All right.
lucky. Brenda's under the weather tonight. She's gonna come back at y'all now.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, you know she will.
All right. Thanks,
Who's up,
Ronnie.
Dane?
All right.
Well, we got Ray Davis up next. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Doing
All
good.
right, buddy.
Oh,
Waiting on you.
wonderful.
All right, I got 2 bowls, segmented bowls, of course. That's mainly what I do. And I got it. There we go.
There you go. That
This
looks
is for
great.
the knitters. I got a friend that is a knitter, and so I've made this bowl for their knitting yarn. And so I thought it'd come out kind of nice. It's nice.
It's pretty.
Walnut, cherry, yellow heart, and maple.
Really nice.
Very nice.
What's the
It is
finish on
nice.
it?
Pardon?
What finish do you have on it?
It's a polyacrylic water-based finish that I use axe sanding. Once I get the acrylic on there smooth, and then I use the axe sanding polish and stuff to polish it out. Next one is another one.
Whoa, pull that right back
Wow.
towards you, sir.
Oh, man.
Pull it
That's
back towards you.
gorgeous.
There you go, right there.
There you
Wow.
go.
You're
That
a
is
segmenting fool,
gorgeous.
Ray.
All right, that's cherry and bloodwood, maple, cherry, walnut, and I guess that's about it.
That's really nice, Ray.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful piece.
Beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
I can't look at that too long. It hurts my head. Wow. That is one beautiful piece.
Nice job, Ray.
Thank you.
As always.
Hey, Ray,
Yeah.
would you do a special just on the feature ring?
I could, but it'd take a week to do it. Yeah, it takes a while anyway. This here took me almost 2 weeks to put together.
Yeah.
It looks every bit of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doing something like that on a feature ring is, I don't know how I would be able to do it justice. But
Right.
I do
Yeah,
enjoy
that's
doing it. It's a
nice
challenge.
work.
Well,
That
take
is
a look
nice
at
work.
it. Ray, if it looks like you can work it in, let us know.
All right, I'll maybe I can do something a little more simple.
All right. Dane, write his name down, please, quickly.
Yep. I got
Don't
the
steer him away.
Hey, Ray, what
Even
part
if
of
he
New
just showed
Mexico are
us how
you
to do
from?
one square.
Pardon?
Hey, Ray, what part of New Mexico are you from?
Rio Rancho, just a little north of Albuquerque.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be down your area the 1st of January through March.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you're going to be around, maybe we could get together and chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I come down and get out of this cold weather.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reason why I ask is my wife's cousin, he's down in Nogales, just outside of Rio Dosa.
Oh, okay.
And he finally got the turning bug, so I'll be going down right after the new year to start teaching him. So
Great.
But yeah, I was just curious what part. But yeah, absolutely. If you're down in this area doing the warm weather deal, I'll shoot you my phone number here in a little bit.
Okay. All right. And if you're up in this area, stop by. I'll show you my shop.
Absolutely. That'd be sweet.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bring
Ray.
wood. Bring wood.
Always. Always. All right. So let's go to Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Hello. Am I unmuted?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you
You're
are.
on. We're listening.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right. 2 years ago, I had a tree fall down out deer camp. I was going to burn it in the fire, but it was still solid. It was maple. So I started making some bowls for this Christmas.
Whoa.
Nice.
That bowl really
So
moved a lot.
far, pardon?
That bowl moved a lot to the long lines of the grain.
Yep. It shifts all the time. These two bowls they were back to back, and they're completely different colored.
Really nice.
They are nice.
And then I made some just regular bowls.
What is that?
Just a non-live edge bowl. Same tree. It's spalted maple. They've all got the general bowl sealer.
Nice inclusions there.
That's pretty.
Those are pretty.
Very nice, Charlie.
And I found a piece of oak laying on the ground. I don't know where it come from.
Well, you got to pick it up.
You got it?
Yeah.
Can you hold it up as you're spinning it? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And this is almost a failure. It got a little too thin. I tried to prove Captain Eddie's theory that you can't exceed the inside diameter to the outside diameter. But we lost a little on the top. That's why there's no bark on it.
The theory still stands then.
And it's
Yeah,
a beautiful piece.
It's down to about 1/8 of an inch in a few places.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Charlie's been busy.
Yeah, for 2 weeks now.
Very nice.
Those are gorgeous.
And I made a few snowman and trees, but I don't have any handy to show. That's all I got.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it,
Thanks,
sir.
Charlie. All
How
right,
about we-
let's go to the first sergeant.
First Sergeant.
Hey, hey.
There's your heads up.
All right, so I'm in the same boat as Ronnie. This week I've been working on something for my boy for Christmas. So we do regular Christmas presents, but one of the Christmas presents we do, we draw names. You got to keep it under $20, homemade, store-bought, used, whatever. Keep it under 20. But this year we put a little twist on it that it had to do something with your birth year. Well, my son, my oldest boy, was born in 1998. The one main thing he's asked this year for Christmas is he wants a brand new Fender Telecaster guitar, which he doesn't know it, but he is getting one. However, you get the big gifts at the end of the day, right? You got to open the cheesy gifts first. So his $20 gift is actually less than 20. I got the piece of wood at one of the box stores for about $13. So there's his Fender Telecaster.
Right.
In order to make it his birth year, I Googled 1998 to see what was going on. And I know we can't get into politics, so we won't discuss what happened other than what the scandal was. But that was the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. So I just printed off the pictures that I found on the internet. And instead of a rock and roll name on the net, well, I just wrote scandal.
Scandal.
That's nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So when he opens it up, I'll be like, hey, you said you wanted a Fender Telecaster.
There you go.
Hey, you just need a strap. That's all. You can make out of rope, right?
Yeah. I
Gonna
threw
do
a
it.
little clip on the back where he can put it on the wall if he feels like.
That's great.
Doug, take pictures of when he gets it open.
What's that?
Take pictures of when he opens it up.
Oh, I sure will. You know.
He's going to be so excited to open up that guitar.
Well, especially if you wrap it to where it looks and feels like a guitar, and then he's going to be really excited.
Oh yeah.
Then that look on his face when he sees it, it's a gag, and he's going to be like, thanks, Dad.
You're dead, Dad. Let's go hunt.
Every year I try to mess with my boys and make them do something crazy. And last year they got AR-15s. That was kind of their big gift that they got last year. But I couldn't keep it as simple as just wrapping them up and putting them under the tree. I sent those poor boys in the wintertime on a scavenger hunt, inside, out to the shed. They're freezing in the snow. I'm laughing. And then they finally got their gift. Made it worth it.
Yeah, right.
It's more than we can
That's
give us
all
how
I got.
you
I
give
didn't
it.
hurt anything this week.
See if you can find a used guitar case or something to put it in.
Yeah, I
Wait.
might do that.
Well, I was gonna say put it in a rectangle case because it won't feel like a guitar. I have a bass
Yeah.
that's in a rectangle case. Looks like a gun case, hard case.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I'll come
Put
up
it in
with something. I
Put it
got
in that new Fender.
Yes.
Put it in that new Fender box. Just swap it out.
Oh, that's true. Huh? I didn't think about
Oh, that's real mean.
That'd be cold.
You folks are mean, just mean.
What a creative bunch, huh, Kevin?
Right.
Oh Lord.
Going right along with it.
Sounds like we need to call out
presents
safety
inside of
in the
presents.
gift
That's my
thing, huh?
favorite.
We're not hearing from Brenda because she's not feeling good tonight. She said,
Oh, that's not
I saw it in the text. I think the line she used was, "I'll get you." But we're all here. We're having fun. We're going to go to Jeff for our weekly safety brief. So Jeff, let's go.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Be safe out there. Hey, I put a link out there in the chat window about Meet the Woodturn. It's a free thing. They take donations. It's out of England, and I watched it on Sunday. They had Herman DeVries on there, and this week, and I forgot that he was the one that really started this WOW website and back in the day, and basically a lot of turns, a lot of ideas and stuff. But he brought up a lot of good points on his interview, and it was really interesting. So I jotted some down. You talked about doing things safely and things like that. Never hurry. Slow down. Dull tools lead to accidents. Also, learn to sharpen. That's my kick on top of it. Do it right. If it's not cutting right, either you may not be presenting the tool correctly, or maybe it's not sharp, or both. So think about it. You don't want something skating on. Every time you say one more cut, you know what happens. Make sure you sharpen before you do that one more cut. Everybody be safe out there. If we don't see anybody for holidays, everybody have great holidays out there. Be safe. I love you all. Take care.
Thank you, Jeff.
You too. Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate the update. Can we get, Dane, can you mute it out so I can do this gallery?
Yep, I'll mute everybody right now, so make sure you put yourself back on.
Gotta go back. Mute myself, change screens, because this is the gallery we received in the past 7 days. Now, that's how it works. You send us a piece to worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, and we'll enter it into the gallery, and this is what we received this week. Watch. And there you go, folks. That was this week's gallery. And I tell you what, I was amazed at the work I saw this week, the art that I saw this week. You're invited to be part of it. We will use those photographs in our newsletter. for December. We will also issue them to our webmaster, and he can use them on our website. And I put them in the newsletter for one reason. If you make the gallery and you want to brag or show somebody, it's right there in the newsletter wrong. The rest of the greatest wood turners in the world. Yeah, that's what I said. Greatest wood turners in the world. And it's not lying. I don't sell insurance. We have a great demonstration lined up for you tonight. One of our demonstration master is Dane, and he lines up the folks. And he went to Houma, Louisiana, and found Billy Dillard with a laser engraver. And if you joined us early on from 5:45 until about half after 6, we talked about laser engravers in depth. I mean, everybody had questions and ideas and wanted to see pictures and all this. Well, this is the demo that will answer those questions. I have questions too. You see that over there? That's my laser engraver right there with my pen rig and all. And I was just putting some embossment on the bottom of a bulb I did several years ago, because in moving the shop, I discovered some pieces weren't marked up. That won't happen again, thanks to Billy. Hey, sir.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Looking good too.
This is my first demo, so take it easy on me. I was trying my best to get it where we could focus more on the software issue of it, because the software is the heart of the system. It's a very easy to use system, but there's no real description on how to go about doing it. So you have to kind of learn as you go, and it's not exactly straightforward. But once you get your artwork in, the first thing we want to talk about is me not being able to get the links in the chat. I'm sorry. I was able to get the laser engraver supplier, Miss Nancy's website. I put that in the chat, and that will help you tremendously on finding accessories for your laser engraver if you use the NeJe. And that's what I have, is the NeJe. And I use a 20-watt laser module on mine. For what we're doing, any of the smaller modules, the 3 or the 7 is fine. I just happen to use the 20 because the 20 has a 100% duty cycle. So if I would like to engrave at 100% power, I would not have to worry about degrading or overheating the module. But that's the reason I use the 20. And the difference in the power can be referenced to the size of a pencil lead. The smaller the pencil lead, the smaller and more detailed work can be done with it. The 20 is still a very small tip as far as the engraving width. So it does fine for what we use it for. As far as doing photos, it would be a little bit too coarse to do photos. So the smaller modules are great for that. But that's what I have. It's the 20 and it's the NeJe. And I have the NeJe S, which is the latest version that is also Bluetooth compatible to your phone. Now, I don't know for sure if it's Android. I'm pretty sure it's Android. I think it's pretty much every phone and iPads. But I very rarely use it in that format. I do bring it to craft fairs, and I do engraving at the craft fair. So if someone has a photo or artwork that they would like to send to me to engrave, I can engrave it on the spot via the phone, Bluetooth. But tonight we're going to focus on just the software that comes with the NeJe, which is very basic. But we're going to do, first off, we're going to do a pin engrave. And the rotary jig that I have looks very odd to most people because it's not made just for pins. It's made for bottle stoppers and Yeti tumblers, and it will also do pins. It looks like it's very elevated, and it is, because it's made for a Yeti to fit here. But you do not have to reconfigure anything to do a pin. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And if anybody's got any questions before I start to do the engraving on the pin, I'm going to cover basically on how to get the artwork into the NeJe software. And if there's any other questions besides that before I start, that'd be a good time to ask me.
Okay, let's rock and roll.
All right. I'm going to, I have some artwork that I brought to my desktop on my Windows computer. And it's actually a JPEG file. And we're going to drag it and drop it into our NeJe software. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get completely out of the NeJe software, just like you would be. And we're going to bring it up from scratch. I don't know if you can see any of that, but just bringing the software up and it comes to its opening screen.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
I don't really have a zoom on my camera. It's just, it's just my, I'm sorry. I could probably.
That's all right.
That's about all I can do. If that helps any at all, I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing. All I'm doing is dragging and dropping some artwork into, let's see, what do I have here? I'm having a hard time seeing. I got a glare on the screen. There it is. I'm going to drag it in. And if we double click on it, it will actually make it fit the screen. And then the next thing it's going to ask us to set the size. And we're going to be doing a pin. So what you would do is you would measure your width of your cylinder. This particular one is 50 millimeters. And that's what I'm going to be working with up there. It's 55 up there. And I'm going to go with 50 millimeters wide. And what it actually does, you set one of the parameters, either the width or the height. It keeps the ratio correct so it doesn't stretch the artwork. So I know that I cannot go wider than 50, and I'd love for it to fill up that 50. So I would go in and I would type 50 millimeters in, and it's bad that it's in metric, but that's just the way it is. And it's going to show me it's going to be around 10 millimeters tall, which for this size tube is going to wrap it pretty much what you can see without rolling the tube. And it's going to have us at 49.95 by 10.73. Now, at this point in time, you're going to select that and say that's good. And then it's going to give you a sampling of what engraving you would like to do. And sometimes it'll be an outline engraving. Sometimes it'll be a shadow. If that's what you want to do, I would prefer just the conventional engraving. So you would click on that, and you also can change the brightness and darkness of the engrave with a sliding scale across the bottom. Usually what you find is if it doesn't look clear on the screen, it's not going to engrave clear. And this one happens to be perfect. So we're going to click on it, select it. And our next step would be it asks us, do we want to add any extra text to it? And we're going to say no, and we'll move on. And now it shows us our engraving that's going to happen. And we have a red framed box that we will use that will frame where the engraving is going to be. And what we will do is we will look up at our pin and see that we're tracking, and we have these arrows that will move it left, right, forward. And on the pin, usually the pin's round, so you don't have a certain spot unless you had a void or a knot on that piece of wood. But we'll track it to the left until we get it where it's centered on the actual blank that we want. And you can measure these yourself before you started. And say you had 5 millimeters to work with, you would measure 2.5 millimeters from each side, and you could put a pencil line there. Usually when it's this close, I can actually eyeball it and get it so close that you'll never be able to pull it out with your naked eye. And we have it centered now. And the next step would be to set our power and burn rate. Now, the burn time on this software is how long it stays in one position. The power rating would be how strong the laser is at that point. These two things can control each other. If I could go with a higher power setting and I could go with a slower burn time, which means I could engrave faster. So that's another benefit of the 20-watt laser, is that I can go at a higher power setting. And what you need to do is take a piece of wood that's the same type material, maybe the same type finish, and just do a little test burn on it and find out how much power you need, because you will find if you have a glossy finish on something, it's going to take a little more power to penetrate that reflection that's coming off of it. And you could also use an erasable marker to cut that reflection down if you don't have a stronger laser. But what I've found with this particular wood, which happens to be walnut with a Parfex finish on it, I found that 3 milliseconds is my good time, and I'm running at 85% power. Now, if you were running with a smaller watt laser, you might be going 100% power. But that's what I found to work on this particular wood with this particular finish. And we framed it, so we know it's going to engrave left and right correctly, and we know it's circular, so we know it's going to engrave there. And we're ready to start the engrave process. Now, the glasses are very important because you always want to look at it and make sure that the first line of the engrave is going to be good, but you're not going to be able to stop it anyway, because it's just, if it engraves the first line, it's already, if it's wrong, it's just going to be bad. But the beauty of a pen is, if it's a big pen, you might be able to turn it down a little bit and still use it. But we'll start the engraving process, and we're at 85% power. And the only thing that I did not mention, which I should have, is the setting the focus. And the focus on this particular laser is anywhere from 35 to 40 millimeters. And I have a piece of paper that I cut. And I know Mr. Johnny Hughes has got a beautiful block of wood with it all laser engraved that he uses. And I like that too, but I don't have mine. I don't know where it is. But I focus it. And also you have a piece of non-reflective black paper that comes with most lasers. And you will put that down where you can see that dot. And you want that dot to be as tiny and sharp as you can possibly get it. And that way you'll get the most power out of your laser. And if you focus that laser and you use the distance and you set the distance each time, you'll never have to focus it again. You'll just set the distance. But that's where we're at there. And we will start the burn process as I put my glasses on, and we'll see how well it works.
Those safety glasses are not a joke, not an idea or suggestion. They're mandatory, folks. Mandatory.
Yes, I'm young enough that I still want to use my eyes for a little while longer. I don't know what, I think it would probably burn your eyes to the point, probably something similar to getting a welder's burn. I would like to think, maybe worse.
It is very similar, except it's more it's smaller, but you get more series of them. So if you look at it for a minute, then you look back and look away and look again, you will get more. It's not a happy thing, folks. And
the worst thing about it is if you've got someone in the general vicinity and they're watching what you're doing, that laser is like a magnet. They want to look at that and stare at that because they think it's just the neatest thing. When I do craft shows, I have a cover I put over my laser. It's just a little thin piece of plastic that's white, and it kills that laser. You can still tell that something's going on underneath that white tint, but you can't see it. So that's what I use. And let's see, looks like we're about halfway, and it's looking really sharp.
Billy?
I'm not going to say, I don't know if you can read the artwork. Yes, have a question?
Yeah, what is a safe distance to be from that laser that the light wouldn't hurt your eyes?
I don't know that there is. I don't know. I've been told to take care of anyone that's standing around, even your pets, because your pets are going to have a tendency to want to stare at it also.
And
So,
Billy,
yeah.
Billy, when you were measuring a few minutes ago, were you measuring from the body of that laser, or were you measuring from the bottom nipple that's sticking out?
It's supposed to be from the lens itself, but my paper that I have is a 40 millimeter measurement that I have, And this 20-watt laser is actually a 30 or 35 is what they say. And
so where is the lens is at the bottom of the case?
yes, it's somewhere maybe 1/8 of an inch up in there. The black cap holds the lens on. And what you're trying to do is get the perfect focal point, and you don't want that focal point to change. And sometimes you could be engraving on something that's not completely flat. It could be tapered, it could be rounded on the edges, and you would want your focal point to be the strongest it could be on the furthest distance, because you know that as you get closer, the laser is going to be slightly stronger, but it may get out of focus. So you'll learn that there's like a distance that it's going to stay in focus, and it's still going to work. It's just not going to be quite as crisp. You want it to be as crisp as possible. No,
trying to get it in camera. Ronnie, that is the bottom of the laser.
Okay, Eddie, show it again.
All right, I got bumped out.
I'm not.
Okay, here we go.
Are you measuring from where that bump sticks out, or are you measuring from the bottom of the module?
I'm measuring from this point, right?
Okay, all right. From
this point.
Okay, all right.
It's not critical.
It's not.
You can see that by holding this paper, your focus paper. If you move that paper up and down, you probably got a good 1/4 of an inch before you can see anything change as far as the diameter of that focus dot. You know, so it's you've got quite a lot to work with. You just want to make sure that it's close, because it's gonna do a crisper image.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not going to tell anybody what this is going to be. I don't know if you guys can actually see it without let's see if I can come up with another light here.
Rutro, hey man.
There you go.
That.
I know it's hard for me to rotate it. I can't figure out which way to turn it, and it's probably not focused very well.
You know,
that took
Billy,
about 4 minutes.
Yes, our burn time was not very much at all.
If you had a smaller laser, like a 5-watt or something, or 7,
you could do the same exact thing.
But what time? How long?
You would not. I did not push the speed on this one. I mean, I'm running at 85% power. So, you know, if this is a 20-watt and I ran at 50% power, then you would say a 10-watt would be the same thing at 100. I have done these tubes with my 3,500-watt one. You know, when I first got it, that's what I had. The other one I had was 3,500. It does just as good.
Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between 3,500 watt and your 7-watt you talk about, or your 5.5 you see?
It's the strength. You know, the power of the laser, and also the size of the pencil lead is what I call it, because that's the easiest thing for people to understand. You gotta, you know, you can draw some real fine lines. You have a real thin pencil lead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, sometimes you see them advertised as a 3,500 watt laser.
Okay,
and sometimes you see them advertised as a 7-watt laser.
I'm trying to understand this. Yeah, I don't know what the 7-watt I think is considered. Let's see, 3,500 and 7,000. So 7,000 milliwatts is 7 watts.
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe it's milliwatts they're talking about.
It's very confusing. Yeah, when they get into thousands of milliwatts, 3,500 milliwatt is 3.5 watts. But with these diode lasers, it's the input power. It's not the output power. But the thing you need to understand is that no matter how they're rated, if one of them's twice the number as the other one, it's going to have twice the power as the other one.
Okay.
That's what it's very confusing how they do that, input power as opposed to output power.
A 3,500 will cut paper and thin material like that. The 7-watt and above will actually cut through a piece of 3mm plywood.
If I was going to buy one from scratch, I would buy the 7. Just knowing what I've knowing what I've done. I don't do very many photos the 3500 is really made for photos because it has a real fine tip on it. It's really made to do, you know, a photo. And the 7 is like, it'll do both. It's right down the middle. It'll do both. These higher wattage ones are great if you want to try to do cutting and deep engraving. I wanted to try to do some deep engraving, and I wanted to backfill it with resin. I have yet to do that. So,
hey, Billy,
that's one of, yes.
It's that gentleman that was just asking that question. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I just purchased one of these this week. Anybody that's interested in a laser, you ought to call this lady, Nancy, and she has a website, and she's very friendly and easy to talk to.
I put it in the chat. It's in the chat.
Okay.
NMS lasers or something like that. Nancy McIntyre. Yeah.
Right. And she'll enlighten you on a lot of things, because a question I had to her, and it's basically what you're asking. I bought a laser, and it's 30 watt, but after you start reading, it's not actually 30 watt. It's like 7.5 watt. And it's what Billy was saying, the formula that they come up with that reduces that number down. So Nancy can enlighten you on a lot of this stuff. So,
and I think from what I understand, they only rate diode lasers that way. I think when you get into the tube lasers, the different lasers, I think they're rated straight up the way you would understand them, as output power.
Right.
Yeah, one is input power and the other is output power.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a pen. And Billy, you have another
pen.
item we're gonna pop up there on that NeJe?
Yes, I mean, we're gonna have a discussion on what we would like to see. I would like to, I know I'm off camera. I would like to demonstrate how we can do the bottom of a bowl, because I know a lot of people have bowls. You know, I think that would be an easy one to do. And I'm going to show you something that I have that it took me, I haven't been turning in a long time, but it took me a while to get where I would buy one of these because I didn't think I needed one. And the one I purchased, I actually purchased it in millimeters strictly for the laser, but it works great. It's basically a way to come up with your center. And you can set it right on top of for your round structure. And what I do is I set it right on top. I don't know if you can probably not see what I'm doing. But I set it right on top, and I take a lead pencil and I extend the lead out where it's long. I stick it right through the hole, and I put a dot right in the dead center of the bowl. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little dot there.
We got it.
Yep.
Okay. And what I do with that is I set that up for my laser, and there is a part on this machine that when we get ready to do, give me just a second and I'll clear this off the screen. And we're going to take another piece of artwork that I generated and made a J. And this is my logo. And what I did was when I generated it, I put a small dot right in the dead center of it with the program that I made it with. And I made the dot really, really faint. So it's when we go to engrave this, it's going to engrave a dot right in the middle, but it's going to be so light you won't even see it. And when I come back and engrave the wood type or my finish, I always make sure I cover up that dot. But we're going to set the size.
What software did you use to do that?
I use Silhouette, but that's just because I got it. You can use any program that can do graphics. I think the term variable scalable graphic, I think is SVR, scalable variable graphic programs. I didn't go out and buy a program, but you could any program that can convert photos or put text into it. And then the most important thing to remember is when you export it as a JPEG file. Now this program will take half a dozen different formats, but it needs to be, JPEG is the most common one, and that's the one I use, and it never fails to work. Now we're gonna, I've already measured this and it's about 60 millimeters wide. So I'm gonna go with a 50 millimeter engrave. And that should leave me a little room around the side. It will also be a telltale how well I centered it. Because you can ruin something if you don't get it centered. It'll look like crap. It took me a while to figure out how to make this work because when it frames it in a square. Well, you can't hardly center a square inside of a circle. And if you do, a lot of times the artwork is not going to be far enough out where you want it. So this is how I came up to do it. And I'm going to show you when it pulls up on the screen, you can adjust the intensity of it. So what I do is I bring up the intensity of it till I can just start to see the dot. And when I can just start to see the dot in there, that's when I stop. And then I select it. And then it's going to ask me, do I want to add any extra graphics? And I don't. And now we're going to come up to the screen and they have, I don't know what the icon would be. It's a circle with I guess 4 compass points on it. And you're going to click on it and it's going to give you a hash, a plus sign. And you're going to put that right on top of that dot. And when you do that, the laser will actually move over and center. And you know that you are centered. Now I'm going to bring up my table. This is the first time I'm getting to use this table for this type of situation. So it might take me a minute to get it where it needs to be. But I'm going to try without making a mess. And I need to bring in my little tag. And this is where that 40 millimeters comes into play.
Billy, where's your laser focused at? Is it focused at the table or is it focused just a few
It's
inches?
focused on the ring, right on the ring here. Now let's see.
I mean, where is the point of focus? Is it like 2 inches below the
Oh, you mean the distance? The
Yeah.
distance, it will be, I think it's between 35 and 40 millimeters. And that's what this
Okay.
paper is cut for. This paper is cut for 40.
I see.
So that's,
Okay.
so that's what I try to accomplish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And now once we have it centered, I get it as close as I can get it. And I know it's going to be really close to being in focus. And then I can take my arrows and bring it to where I want it. Put that dot right on top of the other dot. And then we're always going to do, make sure that we're right. And we're distance-wise, we're good there. And then we will frame it to make sure it's going to be at least stay inside. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the laser itself actually goes, the square frame actually goes outside of the circle, which would mean it would be next to impossible to center that up in there using the outside framing design of the system. But by having the dot makes it, in theory, it's going to be perfectly centered. And I have not done, say again?
What are you looking at when you say you put that dot on top of the other dot?
Okay, there's a little icon, a centering icon on the top right. You click on that, and there's a very faint dot that I saved in my artwork. You can't see it on the screen. It's very, very faint. I line that up, and it centers the laser. It centers the laser to that. It knows that that's the center of the artwork.
And that
And
dot on your
then
and that dot on your artwork is in the center of your artwork?
Yes, when I generated the artwork in my Silhouette program, I centered the art. I created a dot the size that I wanted, and I centered the dot in the page. So I know they're perfectly centered, you know, inside of each other. And that's how I saved them.
So the dot creates a registration point.
Yes. Now, whether I would probably call that a digital digital registration point because
Right.
it doesn't put the laser, it would put it where it would be centered. It would be centered on the two arms on the laser, but that doesn't necessarily work out. As you notice, I moved it over to where the bowl actually was. So it's electronically, it lets you know that it's going to center the artwork on the laser, and wherever you put the laser, then it's going to center it around that point. So it's a center point. So
Kelly,
yes,
as far as focusing, you had that 40mm piece of paper.
yep, I could go back and put the black piece back in there again if I wanted to.
You
But I know
you went to the top part. You went to the highest part of the bottom of the bowl rather than the bottom of the recess.
Well, the reason I do that is because this is a 40mm paper that's for my other two modules. This module actually is a 35. So I know that if I go into that frame roughly, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
You know, and the easiest way to double check would be to use this black paper again. Okay, that way you would throw it down in the middle and you would know that you were focused. I mean, what all this does is keep you from having to do this, because when we get older, it's hard to see that little damn dot. Okay, it's really, really faint. And what you think sometimes will be focused may not be totally focused, because my eyes are just not that good anymore. But I know the smaller I get that dot and the crisper it is, that's where I want to be. That's the sweet spot. But it's not that critical. It's critical, but not, like I said, you got probably 3/8 of an inch to work with. Okay, so if you get it anywhere close, it's good. You know.
I guess I'm kind of thick, but how are you aligning the laser itself to the dot that's on the center of your bowl?
Okay, yeah, I know it's hard to see. There's actually arrows on the computer screen, and it's electrically moving the laser, and I can look up there. It's got I guess you would call it it's a low power, non-burning part of the laser. The laser is at idle right now, so it's a very dim dot, so I can actually see it where it's gonna burn at. So I'm able to look at that with a naked eye. I don't need the glasses for that. In fact, if I put the glasses on, I can't even see it. It's so weak.
Okay, I understand now. I can't see anything, so I couldn't see what you were.
I know
talking about.
it's horrible to do this kind of demo because you can't see everything that's going on. You can't. If I could have split the screen and you could have seen the software, that would be the most awesome part of it. Okay, but right now we have already framed it and we focused it, and that's the things that when you first start doing this, you really have to remember is, man, did I get everything right? Because once I hit that button, you know, and the beauty of it is, if you burn it one time and it's not dark enough, if you don't touch anything, you can do a second pass. Leave it, don't touch anything, don't move it, you can hit another pass. You know, if you're doing a wood that's really soft, that really wants to scorch on you, you could actually go with lower power and do 2 passes. Because you can, over here, you can set how many times you want it to burn. And I've done a couple of times, I burned something and, oh man, it's not dark enough. And you hit that button again and you're like sweating it. Is it going to be off just a little bit and look like double image? But no, it won't. All right, so we're ready to pop that label down, and we got it focused, and our table seems to be stable. And we're going to see what happens. Now this one may take a little longer to burn, and I can't remember if it was an outline or a solid. I think it was maybe an outline. I find that sometimes doing your lettering looks better with an outline instead of doing a solid burn. A solid burn looks kind of nice, but when you get into the bigger fonts, the solid burn starts to look ugly. It's just so much burn area there. So when you do an outline, it's like, it looks a little dressier to me.
Billy, what's your power and speed?
We're running the same power, same speed, 85 and 3 milliseconds. I didn't do a test burn on this because I really didn't know what it was going to be on this particular wood. This is a older bowl that I've done, so It's been sitting around for a while. It's a Spanish cedar. It's probably the worst wood to possibly turn, but it was a challenge. I turned it 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a challenge. But I can show you a couple of things that I've engraved while that's burning. I can show you. I saw online a few I guess about a year ago, somebody had taken some baseball bats and they were making mugs out of them. I think there was a company that was actually making mugs. So I wanted to do one of those, and I tried to acquire some old bats, and I couldn't really find bats the quality of the wood was even worth using. So I took a piece of elm and I actually made it look like a bat. And we engraved it so it looked like a bat. Of course, we had to put our local team on it, you know. But it looks a little bit like a bat mug. But this was my first really deep burn with a laser. This is really deep right here. It turned out really nice. And the elm, the lighter color elm wood, just did an awesome job with that. But every wood burns different. The pecan does really well. Elm does really well. Let's see how we're doing. I don't want to look at that laser.
Bill, you're using the NeJe app right off the internet?
We're 2 minutes into it.
Billy, the software you're using, is that the NeJe free off the internet?
It's the one that came with the firmware. I don't know if it's running on its own or it's requiring the internet. I know some of the NeJe stuff at one time required you to have an internet connection for it to work, and I don't think this one does. But you can see it's taken a little longer to burn this because our burn time is probably twice. We're not halfway yet. But usually you're not in a hurry. You don't want to hang out with this anyway. Usually you just walk away, make sure it's not going to be burning too hard, and you just walk away and let it do its thing and come back. If you use the app on your phone, you're able to monitor it remotely. So it will let you know that in a percentage, it lets you know how close it is to being finished. What I normally do when I'm doing engraving in here, if I figure out my job is 5 minutes, I'll push the button on my iPhone for a 5-minute timer, and I'll walk away, and 5 minutes later I come back and put the next piece on. But I had a couple of other little items, but like I said, this is the bigger burn. I probably should have did a smaller burn, but the technique of centering with a circle, in the bottom, that's important, to get the center. And we'll see how close we nailed it here, because this is a hobby laser. It's not a commercial laser, so it does have little tolerances in it. You may find that it's 1/8 of an inch this way or 1/8 of an inch that way sometimes, and maybe the next time you use it, it's not. It's not a foolproof thing. $1. I can tell you this: you're not going to wear it out, because I have used it. And in fact, this is my second NeJe. My first NeJe, the only reason I got rid of it is because I wanted the Wi, the Bluetooth, being able to remotely burn at craft fairs. So that's the reason that I've got it on a shelf right now. But that's the only reason, because there's no real difference between this one and the older one. As far
Billy?
as yes,
That piece of plastic that you had up earlier, the one with the circles on it, it's metric. Where did you get that, and what's it called?
Plastic with the circles on it.
Your centering device.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got
Hold
it
it
off.
up.
I'm pretty sure I got it off of Amazon.
What's it called?
I think it's called a centering finder, but I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
I got one from Amazon also.
I think that's what it is.
MTech.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
I've never even looked at these things. Did I understand that you could take a picture and copy that picture on a piece of wood?
Yes, I don't have any example to show you. I was looking to see if I had burned something. I had really played around with it when I first got it. I had done some custom Christmas ornaments for some people and took their images and actually you have to convert them to line art, I think what it's called. They make some programs that will convert your photo into an engravable format. Now that you bring it into the NeJe software, it does it automatically, and you really have very little control over it. You know, so either it looks like it's going to be good or it don't. There's no in between. Now, I'm sure if you went with the some of the other aftermarket softwares, you could probably make a perfect engrave out of any photo.
Is there any problem with colored photos versus black and white photos?
Oh, everything gets converted to black and white. That's the first format change that it does. I think it goes to black and white, and then it goes to not a line art, but it's a grayscale. You have a couple of choices to make when you do it, but like I said, the 3500 element module is definitely the one for photos because it's very, very fine burn that it does.
Excuse me, Billy, but
the way
circle
I do
finder,
that, guys, is I convert it. I put it in a photo program and I convert a color image or a photo to grayscale, and then I play with the contrasts a bit until I get it where I like it, and then convert it to black and white, and that's what I burn. But you can change the tolerances of the contrasts and the black and white levels on most software programs, including the free ones, so that you can get the sort of image you want that's close enough that you can then convert it to black and white and send it to the laser that way.
I think the beauty of this laser engraver is that you can bring in any artwork from anywhere as long as you convert it into a format that it will handle. JPEG is like the international freaking JPEG, PNG, and there's a couple of IMG. It handles all those, but JPEG seems to be the more common one.
Billy can justify to this.
Say again?
Billy can justify to this. I went looking for the instructions and I found some on YouTube. And the guy said, okay, here it is. Plug it in and play with it. Yeah, that was the extent of the instructions. So I'll be disappointed, folks.
I can tell you this. My number should be on that list that you have on that list. And if anybody's ever got any questions, call me. If I don't answer the phone, that means I'm busy. I mean, I'm retired. You know, if I can answer the question for you, I will.
Billy, will this print from an SD card, or do you have to have a PC for it?
It doesn't have you got well, that's a good question. Now, if you do it from your phone, you don't even need an SD card. So if you can get it into any kind of file format that you can get to an iPhone, then you could do it with the iPhone. Now, you can bring it from one computer to the other with an SD card. That's the way that I bring some of my stuff from the Apple computer to the Windows. I have an SD card that I put in.
Okay.
All right. Let's see how bad we did. I think we did pretty good. Looks to me like I'd say we're centered.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Got to get rid of that damn dot.
Well, I probably can take my pencil eraser and erase it right off, because what you see in there is it's probably mostly most of it comes right off.
Hey, you make
what? Hey, I thought on the dot. Why don't you put a piece of tape, a little piece of masking tape in the center of it, and let it burn the masking tape? It may not burn through.
Yeah, you're right. But what I normally do is when I come back and put my wood type in my finish, I always make sure it goes right on top of that. So when I engrave my wood top and my finish and my signature, that's the other three things that I put on there. And I
But what
put it
I'm
right
saying-
on top of that.
Put a little piece of masking tape in the center of the design, put your dot
Yep.
on that, and then you can align to that. And then when it burns it, it's not, it won't show up.
Sure
and you
could.
Get rid of it.
I could actually put a little piece of an aluminum tape if, you know, if I was like a commercial, retired commercial air conditioner guy, I probably would have some of that aluminum tape around somewhere. That aluminum tape's awesome. It would be perfect. I never thought about it. That would be perfect for that.
You were
But normally-
talking about converting to grayscale a while ago. GIMP is a free program and it only takes like 3 steps to convert from color to grayscale.
Yeah, there is some kind of program. In fact, there may actually be something in that NeJe on the NeJe website too. I never have messed with it that much.
Well, the
I kinda
name
got
of
away from it.
the name of that free program is GIMP, GIMP.
Oh, okay.
But if
That's
you
cool.
put a color picture into the NeJe, it automatically converts it to grayscale.
Yeah, but you don't have much control over the quality of it, and you're going to find out if it looks like it's like overly grainy, that's probably going to be your best engrave. It's weird, but like I said, the software is not. Well, first off, you didn't pay for the software. The software came with it for free, so it's
Hey,
like
Bill.
you can't really
Hey,
complain too much about it, you know.
Hey, Billy,
Uh-huh.
can you tell us what the name of your machine is? The engraver?
It's a NeJe Master 2. I tried putting it in the chat, and all it did was put the text is all it did.
All right, thank you.
It's
But
in
the
the chat.
Master,
Yep.
the Master 2, the 2 designates that will Bluetooth compatible to your phones and your iPads.
What
So
about the S?
The S, I think, is a little bit bigger. I think the 150 by 150 millimeter engraving area, I think the S is 170 by 170. But I could be wrong about the S. But I know that the NeJe Master 2 is the one that has the latest and greatest extra circuit board, which allows you to Bluetooth.
Okay, let me mention this, Billy, while you're in there. If you folks want to get into this, or you do get into this, and you've got ideas or questions, Nancy hosts a Facebook page, and so does a couple of other folks on NeJe, and they can help you out. I mean, Nancy was great this week helping me out, and then I had to call Billy because I wanted to import a photograph, and they kept saying, take the file and drop it, take the file and drop it, take the file and drop it. Billy is the one that said, take the JPEG and drop it. The rest of them thought, well, everybody knows that. But they'll help you as best they can. And just like I can call Billy and ask him questions on this or email them or whatever. And the beauty is you can keep toying with it. Get some blocks of wood. The key thing is the height of your laser above the wood to get the perfect cut.
Hey, Billy?
Yes, sir.
I think if anybody's really interested in this, I just purchased one of these this week. I talked to Nancy. Nancy said, Nancy does not stock anything. If you place an order with Nancy, Nancy turns around and orders it from the NeJe warehouse in the United States. So
okay.
When I talked to Nancy, Nancy said, don't order it from me, order it straight from the NeJe warehouse. I saved money by doing that. Now, what I went with, my frame is the next size up from this. My frame, I think, is 480 millimeters by 980 millimeters, which is roughly 26 inches by or maybe it's 18 inches by 32 inches. So I can get a lot under that. As far as the module it's the same thing. It's a 30 watt. Everything kind of is the same on the module. If you go to the NeJe warehouse, their only problem is they're just about out. When I tried to order one Friday, I couldn't order one in the United States because they were out. So you can order it straight from China, and I was going to do that. But the problem with that, they want to charge you $150 shipping. So I backed out of that. So I kept going to the NeJe site in the United States. And yesterday I went to it and they had two. So I hurry up and ordered one and I got it coming. It comes free shipping. The one for the larger one, I was able to buy mine for $339. No tax, no shipping.
That's good. It is 360 something, I think, on Amazon right now.
Right. This unit like Billy's got is about, I think, 330. Well, mine was 339. I think this one right here is about little over 3. It might be 315 or whatever. So you can step up to the larger frame, and it's basically the same price.
Yeah, but the reason I didn't go with the Max, I think is what they call it, is because when you start engraving something that big, you're talking like hours, sometimes 8 hours to engrave something that size. So it might be an overnight project when you walk away. I couldn't foresee engraving anything that big.
Well,
but it's nice to have the room, though, you know?
The thing is, if you're engraving the same size that Billy's engraving, it's going to take the same amount of time. Just because you go with a bigger frame.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't mean that you're going to be spending that much more time. You just have the capabilities of doing a bigger piece. If you have a bigger bowl, a bigger platter, or whatever, you're capable of putting that within the frame.
Oh, I see. Okay. Hey, Ronnie, was that 360 or whatever the cost was that the entire cost, or did you have to buy the separate engraver to go along with your tray there where you put your bowl?
That's everything. It's the frame, the module, and the shipping and everything else.
Okay.
But not the table.
Oh no. Now you see Billy has his elevated. Where you see that black, that's at the actual size of the NeJe and laser.
The black is the frame.
Hey guys, if I can offer a suggestion here, I have riser blocks that I put mine on, so no matter what size bowl or whatever, it comes up underneath. I can raise mine up like feet. So
correct.
I get the focus of my laser right on the bottom of my bowl or a vase. If I've got a foot tall vase, I just raise up my laser and center it, and you know.
Now
you raise your bowl up to meet your laser.
You're talking to Nancy. You want to keep your laser in a fixed position, and you want to use like this is what they call a lab table that he has that block of wood sitting on. You bring your work up to the laser. You don't move your laser around, because the problem you're also going to have, it depends what kind of job you're running on this thing. This module, if it's moving too fast, it's going to start to shake and vibrate. Oh. It's only going to shake and vibrate to a point, and the thing's going to pick up on that movement and it's going to shut down. So that
looks like Billy's is vibrating a while ago.
Well, I had this stupid piece of rubber that came with it. I thought that was neat, but then what I realized is that it's not flat, and that's what was causing it.
No, I meant your frame. I mean,
I
the
didn't
frame.
stop.
It looked like the frame over here, the black frame was vibrating when, yeah, like that. There you go.
I think what I got it set on here, the whole thing was moving as a complete unit, so that way it didn't affect it. Didn't affect it, you know.
Okay.
I just elevated it up so I could get it in front of the camera and try to get the best view I could get for you guys, but it's still kind of shadowy. You know, sometimes you can have too much light.
Okay, Billy, we
How do
keep
you
using
tell
the term, burning it in before folks ask the question. It doesn't really get that hot on the bottom of the piece or the side of the piece. But will it cut you? It'll cut you like a hot knife.
How you know that?
I saw photographs, which I have never seen. I hate people on YouTube that do that. They show you the wound.
I respect a laser. I know what it can do. It may not hurt you bad, but it'll make you it'll burn you bad. That's for sure.
Now, how do you spell the NeJe?
NeJe. NeJe.
NeJe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. I call it NeJe.
That's it. Go to NeJe.com and you're going to go right into the warehouse.
Now, what you're looking at on this rig in front of you right now, everything you see in black, as far as a cutting machine, is what you receive when you buy Best of Master 2. The blue materials, those are brackets that he bought extra. And those came from NeJe, and that's the rotary jig for doing pens, jars, and stuff like that. And the installation, say if you want to take that pen rig off, it takes me about 30 seconds to take mine off and go to flat engraving. It is, I hate to use the term village idiot.
Okay, does the table that he's got the block of wood on now?
Pardon me?
That table is called a lab table. It's called a lab table. If you go on Amazon, punch in lab table and those will come up. But watch the size that you're looking at. Some of them are 4-inch, some of them are 6-inch. This here is an 8-inch.
Hey, Ronnie, just because I bought the 4-inch, you don't have to keep picking on me.
I figured I wanted to get it big enough that it would support what I wanted, but not so wide that it wouldn't go between the legs of the engraver in case I wanted to slide it further in.
There you go. There you go.
That was my thought, but it was only like $26, and people complain about it being a little bitty rickety or whatever, but you know what? It serves its purpose. It works. It works really good.
Okay, how much were the blue extensions there that are on the side?
Well, that came as a kit. That was the they call it a Yeti tumbler jig. Let's see, I wrote the exact name down. It came from Nancy's site, which is what's it called again? NCM or NSM?
NMC.
I put the link in the chat for this as NMC lasers. It's got the link to her website and it's got all this stuff on it. But this is they called it the new Yeti Benson Pace Master Rotary Jig.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, I think the initial one was the rotary jig. You know, that was for pins. Okay, that's what they called it. So I guess they wanted to make sure that you didn't order the wrong one. Now the regular rotary jig I think was $45. Pretty basic. You know, the actual legs, the legs here are God, they're half this high. Okay, so everything's up higher. I don't even know if it came with any extensions for the side. I don't think it did, but it did have the knobs on here for I think initially they used a big rubber band, and now they have went to this string with a spring that holds tension. And I tell you what, that does really well. I made my own initially because I could not locate one for about a year because either they were not making them or people were buying them faster than you could make them. So I made one that actually bolted up to it, and with the same quarter 20 rod like this, and just made one, bought the bearings, the whole thing, and made it up, and it worked really well, but it didn't have all these extension pieces. And then I found out that I wanted to do some bottle stoppers, or I wanted to do some mugs, or I didn't want to be limited just in pins. So that's the reason that when I bought this, when I bought the one that looks ugly and tall, it's kind of rickety, but it works. But it does a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not limited at all.
No, and if you put that string on, there are no instructions, okay? You put that string on, you go over the top.
That's
over
right.
If you go
I forgot to mention
under,
that. I'm sorry.
if you go
You go
under, you
backwards.
get a complete negative of the thing you want to engrave.
On Nancy's store, in the pictures and the link that I posted in the chat, it shows how the string is rigged. You go to that link.
Yeah.
For the rotary jig.
Everything I see on that site says it's out of stock.
Yeah.
It'll be that way from time to time, and then a couple of days there'll be some, and then they'll be gone again. If that lets you know anything, it's very popular.
Are you on Nancy's site or you on the NeJe site?
NMC.
Yeah, she's on NMC. I looked at it earlier today, and it's the same way. They're really selling a lot of these. These are very popular. You will see them on Amazon, and sometimes they'll be about the same price. Other times they'll be, of course, there's no shipping if you got Prime. But
go to the NeJe site.
Well, right now, everybody will promise you anything, but if they don't have it in their hands, don't trust it.
Yeah. Right now, you're gonna be lucky to get anything shipped.
All right, Tony, that was a great demonstration, sir. Very nice. Cleared up a couple of mysteries.
I'm not. My turning skills are not up to the point of being able to do a turning video. I'm not up to you guys' level on that, but I do know a little bit about the engraver. But I'll catch up with you guys eventually.
Oh, we know you will. We know you will. All right.
Great job.
A lot of information on this is in our chat tonight. Folks, before you leave, save the chat. Because if you look at where that rotary jig is, where the lab tables came from, what the software was, what's open in aftermarket stuff, all that is available. Now, Billy just did a great demonstration for us. I got to throw a nickel, and I can't say but. I want to say this. Billy did a great demonstration, and he showed you everything he's doing. Did you realize that the software that he's using and the NeJe or compatible are made to do it? There's versions of the software that you can use completely wireless. Doesn't have as many features as that desktop software does, or the laptop software. And all the parts like that, it's like a club. You have a problem, you can go to the NeJe sites. There's several Facebook pages. You can tell them what your problem is, and you, just like this club, you'll get input from around the world almost immediately. Billy, do you know what the color or the specifications on those green glasses are?
No, I do not. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos today, and someone was saying that you could buy some higher quality glasses, and they recommend doing it, but I did not check to see where. I put them on just long enough to make sure that what I'm doing is going to be right, and I stop looking at it. I'm not fascinated by it anymore. I guess people would probably put them on and just stare at it the whole time, Might not be good.
On Amazon. So you can get them on Amazon, the higher quality ones.
What you want to do, if you go to the NeJe site, you look at the module, like a 30 watt module. In the description, it tells you there's numbers of the brightness of that light. So when you go to Amazon and you're looking for safety glasses, when you start shopping those safety glasses, it's going to tell you what it protects you as far as those numbers. Is that understandable?
Yeah. The frequency of the wave is what we're talking about there.
Correct.
That's exactly what you're trying to match up, that the glasses will cover the frequency of the laser light.
Correct.
For those of us that weren't able to join the meeting at 6 o'clock, the chat that's saved on the website will have all this information.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And there will be a YouTube video.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I'll repeat. Yeah, we are the club that puts everything on our website. Thank you, Dave. And that's where you can find a repeat of it. Now, the chat gets edited. What you got, Billy?
That's just the actual program that you can run from your phone. I know it's out of focus. I don't know why it doesn't focus well.
No, you can see it.
But that's what I'm actually burning right now. I just picked a random file that was on there already, and that's how fast you can do it.
That's a random JPEG file, right?
Yeah, whatever was on their little library. I mean, you would load the image the same way. You would just select the image. It's very, very coarse adjustments on it as far as moving it on the screen and centering it on your work. It's hard to do it because the adjustments on your phone don't work like the button on your computer does. So usually you find yourself, if you do that, you find yourself moving your work to center it instead of moving the laser. You know, but it works really easy and it works great. And like I said, you can just walk away with your phone, and right now it's showing 48% complete, and it's got all the same settings that's that you would see, and you would set the size of it the same way in millimeters. You know, now if I had like a big iPad, it would probably be a little easier to see, but it's nice to be able to know that you can totally run without a computer if you want to. And I just done this on a piece of walnut, so I don't know. Same settings, 85% power and 3 milliseconds, and it's 87% done. So that's the beauty of the phone. The Bluetooth is that you don't have to look at the laser. You know when it's done. It's 98%, 99. It's done.
Billy, my screen's harder to read. This is my iPad, and I'm looking at this iPad. It's a little larger and easier to work with the telephone, but I have all the same controls that Billy's got on the other one.
Yeah, this is a little logo of Eddie.
A ram.
Oh no, a goat. It's a goat.
When you set these things up, do you have like a library in your program where you can save them to and go back?
You could save them as a favorite. In other words, when I brought the image in, I could click on it and save it as a favorite. But what I've been doing when I'm using my computer, I just keep the photos or the images that I'm going to use a lot. I keep them either on my desktop or I'll keep them. What I have been using in the past, and for some reason today, it decided it's not going to work, is called iCloud Drive. And supposedly when I save a file on one computer on the iCloud Drive, and I go to another computer and I open up the iCloud Drive, it's supposed to be there. Yeah. And it has been there religiously up till today. So I'm like, okay, it just makes everything hard, but that's the way things happen. When I click on my desktop here, it should be the same files that's on my desktop on my Apple. But for some reason, it's not there right now. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Must be today, Billy, because the same thing's happening with me. I can't get into my iCloud.
Yeah, so maybe it's nothing to do on my end. Maybe it's just on their problem.
Well, Apple's turning that into a subscription service.
It's possible, yeah. Because it seems
Well,
like I
they-
had paid for a certain amount of storage
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. It's very possible that I had it on an old debit card and maybe the old debit card expired and maybe they didn't get their money.
That could be.
Well, they always send you
yeah,
a
well-
note that you need to buy more. Good marketing, no matter what you're using and how much you have, you need more.
Right.
That turned out pretty good. Walnut looks good, dude.
Sure
Good
does.
contrast. But,
And
but
those
yeah,
little
like,
fine
I showed you how-
lines for the
how-
horns.
Yes. And that's with the 20 watt. So you know how fine the lines could be with a 7 watt or with the 3500. 3.5 watt. That's the way to keep it all the same. But
I saw a
but
guy
yeah.
engrave the bottom of his bowls right on the lathe. He had
Yeah, that's
bowl-
one of the next things I want to do. This machine here, it don't care whether it's upside down, sideways or not, because everything is tensioned up. So that's one of the things I want to work on and see if I can do something
he
like
had the
that.
bowl mounted in cold jaws, and he had the laser mounted on his tailstock.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
And he burned it right on the lathe. He used the laser called the
Laser pecker.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Hey guys, if y'all go to Adam Jacobs, he's got a YouTube channel. He shows how to set that up for your bowls.
Carl Jacobs?
Adrian Jacobs, I'm sorry. Adrian Jacobs has got a YouTube channel and he shows how to set that up. He's like overseas Europe somewhere.
Good to know.
Thank you, sir. All righty, any more questions from Billy about this, folks?
All right, who wants the pen? Somebody wants his pen, huh? You send his
Great
pen to
job,
somebody.
Billy, you need
Somebody
an
wants
address?
worldwide wood. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna do something with it.
All right, I'm not that far
Maybe
away.
we'll-
Take about 45 minutes to get there.
Maybe we could
Great demo, Billy. Thank you.
We could draw names next week for Christmas present,
That
Good
works.
demo, Billy.
Very good, Billy. Thank you.
I enjoyed it. It makes me very nervous to do this kind of stuff.
Oh, you did fine.
Yay.
No, you did a great job, man. Thank you.
Well, I don't stand in front of congregations all day the way Mr. Doug does. I'm sure he don't even blink.
You-
You don't
I
sweat
had,
it.
to
do
give
you?
I had to give a report yesterday to a group of well, it was an executive board of state convention, and I was so nervous doing that. I've never been nervous like that, but I was yesterday.
When you get to a certain age, you just don't care anymore. You shouldn't care anymore about stuff.
That's
like that.
part of it, yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
when I was young, I could not stand up in front of anybody and talk. Man, it was just a group of people would just wear me out. I would rather
need
take a butt whooping. Yeah.
You need to take the Dale Carnegie course.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And
Dale
heard him
Carnegie.
brought up a long
How to
time.
win friends and
They
influence
teach you.
people.
They teach you how to
That's it.
stand up in front of people and give a
Yeah.
speech.
They do.
I was a teacher for 40 years. I'm tired of standing up and talking.
That's
hear
my
that.
wife. She has no problem with that, but it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Great demonstration to see the folks 20 after the top of the hour. We're worldwide, we're worldwidewoodturners.org. And you are a member of this club and you have as much force as anybody else does. Oh, it's time for a financial report. Okay, we're done.
Hey, by the way, yeah, Eddie, you can put my number if you want to put my number up somewhere on the website. If anybody wants to call and ask any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay.
You're on the
I know we got a
contact
list. Okay, all right. Like I said, just make sure that nobody has a problem. I don't have
Billy's
a
on the
problem with it.
contact list.
All right.
If you got my number, shoot me a text. I can shoot you Billy's.
Yep, we use you to contact folks. That's what we do. We're gonna go back to the gallery in a few minutes because I want to see what you turned. We're gonna ask you some questions. How big is it? What kind of wood is it? And what finish do you have on it? That's really critical. We all wonder what it's gonna look like and how it's gonna pop when you put it out there. If you'd like to get on a contact sheet, sort of like where you're gonna find Billy, and Dane and Jim and all the other folks that want to, because it's not a membership list. All you need to do is put the information you wish to be in our private contact list in chat. Now, tonight, you'll be able to see the chat and save it and get it. But tomorrow, when Dave posts this chat on the internet, it won't have that information in it. If you want to get that information currently updated, then you go to our website where on the contact that says a membership, a contact list. Click it, follow the instructions to the T. And I mean to the T. We have enough protection that a robot will not get in the door. And that's why we do it that way. It's our contact list. We have demos lined up for about the next 6 or 7 weeks, but we're always looking for more information. And if you can do a quick demo, and let me say this quick, if you can do a quick demo that's maybe 10 or 15 minutes long, that's on a feature that you've developed for your shop or a trick that you've developed for this or an idea how we can do this, this is what we want you to share that. So you can do it with the iPhone. It's not, you can do it with the computer you're talking to me on right now. So that's, we're looking for more demos. We always looking for it. And Freedom Pens. Ronnie Bunnett's with us tonight. Jim Selby's with us tonight. Doug Rose with us tonight. A couple other folks. Do you know what they do? They issue Freedom Pens. That's right. Freedom Pens are pens to our troops to thank them for their service and their dedication to what they're doing, protecting the freedom of America or your world. Our troops do that. So please turn a pen, send it to one of the contacts you choose that's on our website under Freedom Pens, and that pen will be handed to an active troop. And it's something I know we've done 1,000 pens this year. And the year's almost over. We're trying to beat that number. You'll wait. Hey, next week we have Mr. John. John Brown's going to be with us and he's going to do a demo. We start early next week for the demo. Dane, what's our deal on that?
For John?
Yeah, what time?
Top of the hour, right at 6.
Right at 6. Once we crank up, go and do John. It's because
right after the tailgate, we're going to jump right to it because he's on a schedule. He's got to be out of the shop where he's at.
Yes, and he's generous enough to do this demonstration for us next Wednesday. And that's the first demonstration. Hey, how would you like to do another demonstration on articulated arm construction for your lights and your cameras and things like that? How would you like to do that, Dane?
Well, I know a guy that could probably demonstrate his.
Who's that?
Well, it would be Matt Harbor.
Oh, yeah. He's doing nothing else.
Right? I know. It'll give him something to do so he can stay warm.
I'm gonna have to be in my shop, and it's gonna be like 20 degrees in there when I go in there to do it.
Hate to say it.
Hey,
Matt, fire up the heater an hour early.
Matt, we'll wear a parka for you.
Yeah. I got here we go. Matt, you want me to send this to you? It's wrong color. But Kim made this for me. There's no top on it, but keep your ear warm, If that'll help, I'll share this with you. Ronnie's bugging me. Ronnie wants to get this thing, but I'm rather give it to Matt as for a demonstration. Okay, we're doing gallery. We're having a fun time. We're doing gallery, and remind you again, everything you want to know about what we talked about tonight. Our members have included some tips, hints, websites, ideas, comments, etc. in the chat. Save your chat before you leave here tonight. But before you leave, we're going to go back to gallery. And Dane's got some folks lined up for us tonight. That's how you get it in the chat. Dane finds you, and we go there. Let's go to Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Eddie,
All right, yeah.
Do that?
Not that Ocean Springs, the other Ocean Springs.
The other Ocean Springs.
I don't have a demo. I just wanted to bring something up. I did a wood sharpening demo last weekend. I'm trying to get it uploaded to YouTube, and when I do, I'll send it to out to our webmaster for him to post. It's about a 2.5 hour demo on sharpening.
It was very good, folks. Very good.
Yes, it was.
As soon as
If it was anything like the one he did 2-3 weeks ago for the club, you know it's going to be good.
No, he added bells and whistles.
It went into more depth, but it's a 2.5 hour demo. But I'm just able to get it uploaded and then said it was too long, so I'm trying to do it again. So
good to know. Thanks, Trey. All right, well, let's go to our other buddy in Ocean Springs, Johnny.
Maker himself.
Yeah, the Mr. Good Eats guy.
Boy, he finds some fine restaurants, doesn't he?
I know, right?
Oh,
Johnny Hughes.
he always goes to him for the wrong reason, though. That's the problem.
Ah.
He's always got to go to the hospital to go eat. I don't know. That ain't good. Oh, that's pretty.
True.
That's this year's ornaments I turned. They're probably 3.5 to 4 inches tall, made out of maple, and they have a lacquer finish on them. And the little bulbs on them are actually done with puff paint in there.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
I was wondering how you did those when I saw the pictures online.
Yeah, those I do different ones every year for the family and all the kids and grandkids and great grandkids.
It's a nice.
That's all I have there.
Thank you, Johnny. Good seeing you.
Very nice.
You too.
Johnny's out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, just a little ways down from where Trace is. I've shared lunch with the boy, talking about 2 characters. I think our wives wanted to leave us there. But we're going to go back to gallery right now. And Trey's Dane handles putting you in line. Get there, put it on the chat, say, I want to show you something. Said something.
I'll get you put down in order, and then I'll bring you up in succession. So speaking of succession, let's go to North Carolina, Mr. Bob Moffitt. Welcome back, buddy. It's been a while.
I know. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Okay, well, y'all gonna be surprised. Well, I got a couple birdhouses.
No,
really? This is one I did.
We are surprised.
That's out of Bacote and ambrosia maple. And then this is another one I did out of walnut and ambrosia maple. You make these out of just little pieces. These were made out of they cut off of a bowl square. So that one. And I've got this one, which was made with a natural edge.
Well, I like that.
And that was just a piece of scrap oak for the top of it, and then walnut and maple for the bottom.
Where's our censor at? He's using that dirty word.
Scrap. Excuse me. Small pieces of wood yet to become artistic creations.
There you go.
Kim says we can't.
And I've got a couple of Christmas trees I made out of some little pieces of cedar. And
very nice.
Sell these during Christmas, and
the symmetry on that.
I make some larger ones out of the cedar. And people really like it when they have the sapwood and the heartwood in them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've had some people ask me if it's 2 pieces of wood glued together.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see why.
This is another I made.
Ooh, well, that's beautiful.
I think the biggest one I've made is 15 inches, I guess. That one was a little scary because it's all a piece of wood, but they're fun to make. And
I love your cuts. The little slight curve in them, the good sharp corners, symmetrical.
They sell real well too.
I bet. Very
and
nice.
the texture of the bottom of them. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yep. Got a hatch going there. Nice.
And that one's textured.
Uh-huh.
Make it like a little basket.
There you go.
Pretty work, Bob. Good to see you back, sir.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back.
All right.
Definitely.
Good getting around. It's like visiting
Got
with
anything
family
else?
you like.
That's it.
All
I
right.
can show
Thanks,
you my,
Bob.
I can show you my coffee mug.
Yeah, sure. Oh, there we go. What's in it?
Okay.
Uh,
Go back to
Pink lemonade.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, staying with our tune of being worldwide, let's go to the Southern Hemisphere. Donald Masterson's with us, folks.
Hey, Donald.
Hello, Donald.
I've shown this before, but I didn't show the engraving on the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
It's a bit of camphor laurel.
What is the numbers? What do the numbers mean?
Telephone number.
Oh,
I just put that on the logo, so if somebody's showing something I made, they can tell the people if they want it to contact me. This is all about engraving. Talking about photos.
You did that with a
Pretty nice,
laser?
Donald.
I did that with an NeJe.
Well,
And that's just a picture off the net and done.
How long did that take you, Donald?
That one's about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Actual pictures with tones and everything in it.
That's nice.
For fineness of lines, when you first look at it, it looks like a tree.
Looks like a tiger.
If you look closely, there's a tiger in it.
I see the tree.
I saw a tiger.
I see that. I see the tiger too, but I see the tree.
And that one there was the first.
I see a cat.
Pull it right in front of your face. There you go.
Yep, gay long
Oh.
cats.
What size module do you have, Donald?
I have a 7 watt,
Okay.
and I run it at about 15% power, and about 13 millisecond burn. I figure that the module's going to last a lot longer the lower power you run it at.
Probably. Yeah.
So you run it at a lower wattage and then do it do it a double time?
You do a longer burn.
Yep.
Longer burn time. Watt stays the same, you increase the burn time.
It makes sense. Seems like it would.
And the way I've got it set up, I don't have to be there while it's doing it. I've got, because I use a lot of MDF, which isn't real good, safe to burn, to breathe, I have an exhaust fan on the laser itself and duct it out in a 4-inch tube. I also have air assist, which is an aquarium pump tubed up and aimed at the focal point. So that gives you a lot cleaner lines on the edge of the line. Because if you look at magnified, the actual outside of the line has got all extra soot on it. But by having the air assist, it blows all that away and it keeps your leggings clean.
Have you had to replace the laser yet?
No, I've
Okay, good.
probably done close to 600 pictures. So that's quite a lot of hours of running.
Yeah, that's good.
And with all those, it was just a colour photo dragged into the NeJe software and let it convert. It gives you 3 different options of which result you want, and then you can adjust the depth of like the contrast of it. I tried running light burn and I found it too complicated for an old brain.
That'd be me.
Thank you, Donald. Appreciate you sharing that tonight, sir.
Yes, thanks, Donald.
Hey, I got a quick question. The smoke and stuff coming off the laser, shouldn't that be like fanned out or sucked out, exhaust out someplace?
Yeah, I've got an exhaust fan and a 4-inch duct and run it outside.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I got
If you
I have a
just-
clip-on fan to the window right behind where I put the machine. But if I forget to turn it on, it's not that heavy a smoke. It's not, but all smoke's dangerous, but it's not that heavy a smoke. All right, we're going back to gallery, but folks, what you're looking for in questions is going to be in our, oh my God, look at this. They're going to be in our chat. Doug, I hadn't opened that Christmas present you sent me yet. I still have it all wrapped up. Next week, I'll unwrap it and show folks.
I didn't realize you guys were gonna come back to me that quick. So
Messed your
I
hair
messed
up.
around with one of the bowling balls again. And
you animal.
what's that?
Go ahead.
You animal.
I thought you were an animal.
Oh. Anyway, let me get this thing flipped around. So I got a bowling ball on the lathe. I've already cut the top off. I left the thumb hole, and I'm kind of at a cool spot, so I thought I'd show you guys. There's the thumb hole. So I don't know what's inside this bowling ball, but I'll tell you what, whatever this portion is right here is just kicking my butt. The white part, of course, is super soft, comes right out. But
That's
it almost feels like it's like a liquid nail. I know it's not liquid nail, but that's like the closest thing I could compare it to. But it was so hard. Let me see. I threw the piece over here. It actually broke my tendon off. So now I'm at the end of the day, I'm gonna have a funnel. So I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do to fix it. I'll probably put resin in the bottom of it or something. But
Slap it back
I think
in.
I'm gonna. There'll be a little yarn bowl for my wife once I get it finished. Because you all keep making beautiful yarn bowls, and then she says, "When are you making me one?" And I've never actually completed a yarn bowl, and maybe I still have it.
Thinking when I seen that hole, I thought, yep, you gotta make that into a yarn bowl for your wife.
Yeah, that's the idea. If I don't break it again.
About time.
All right. Well, that's my big mess tonight. It was a. And for the safety guy, there's my fan blowing the stuff away from me. And there's the exhaust fan taking it from me. And there's the garage door open a little bit, keeping some fresh air in. And then there's me not making sense having the heater on right now.
Right on.
I'll
Thanks,
let you
Doug.
guys get back after it.
Thank you,
be
Doug. Have a
careful
great
with that.
evening, sir.
You bet.
All right, let's go to Monument, Colorado. Jason.
How's it going?
You're gonna
I don't
switch
feel
up?
so bad because I'm usually turning during these areas too. But
It's the only time when I have time to get.
here's my
something
little
different.
creation for the night. First time I've been in the shop in probably about a week. So,
There you
but
go.
it's actually it's a piece of corian.
Corian.
So, box of junk that I got from somebody else that they just gave to me. So, but the wife wanted me to make a new bottle opener for her sister for Christmas.
That's nice.
You gotta work.
Yeah.
Gotta
That's
make
all
her
I
happy,
got. Like I
right?
said, I haven't been in the shop much lately.
Yeah, it's getting cold up there
But-
for y'all too, huh?
Yeah, the winds today were just outrageous. I
Yeah.
guess they broke a record at the Air Force Academy, 110 miles an hour.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jason.
all over the place.
Hey, Jason. Jason,
Yeah.
you call that a hurricane?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it started off as like a snow first thing this morning, and then with the wind, it was just crazy. And then it blew out and just windy all day.
Yeah, they're talking about trucks blown off the road in Colorado, and now they're talking about in places in Nebraska where they had tornado warnings 2 or 3 hours ago. They now got 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Between Monument and the south entrance to the Air Force Academy, I think there was 10 or 12 semis turned over today.
Wow.
So, because all the wind.
Yeah, stay safe up there.
Oh yeah.
Stay warm. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Hey,
Let's
Joaquin.
go to Joaquin.
The American
Okay.
Dream, Joaquin. Talk to us.
Hi, y'all. I'm late, but a little bit's better than nothing. This is a potpourri bow. I don't know how well.
It's okay.
It's made from an orange tree that my wood carving buddy's granddaughter had planted this orange seed, and the tree grew, and it died. And so I got a piece of wood about a year ago and decided to turn. I was really surprised, I guess, the spalling and stuff it's got in it and all. And it was a little punky, and I ended up putting a CA finish on it. But that's all I got left to show. Nearly everything else is in Christmas presents and gone already.
Well,
Yeah,
Joaquin,
very
we
good.
put the gnomes that you sent this, or gnomes, you sent to the club for the gallery, video gallery, put that up earlier this evening.
Oh, yeah?
Really cute.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
look
the
good.
row of about 5 or 6 you have in one spot,
Oh, yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
like the Christmas dinner table of them in-laws on the
Oh,
other side.
I see.
Beautiful work in those, and they weren't too alike. He had 6 or 8 or 10 of them, and they
Gee.
really made up a unique looking piece.
She's already packed them away, and there was 2 of them that I kind of copied, a Lowrider and ZZ Top.
Yeah, I was thinking that ZZ Top.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandson, he's getting them. So it's been fun, hasn't it?
Yes,
Turning
it has.
Christmas. Mhm.
Well,
That's
thank you,
good.
Joaquin.
Thanks,
Good
Joaquin.
seeing you this evening.
You bet, Eddie.
All
Dame,
right.
thank you very much.
Oh,
Got
you're
about
welcome.
15 more minutes of gallery, folks. If you want to be in on it, say I want to show something, and Dane will call on you. When he calls on you, start talking so we can find you and bring you up, because we want to see what you turned. And there's no competition in this. There's no winner, loser, second, third place, whatever. We're just here to see some wood turning. And we got a ton of stuff in the chat tonight. And I mean, we've had folks insert details about this, that. I don't know if it made it in there because I may have missed it. The link to the NeJe website for NeJe itself. I'd like to see that in the chat. If it's not in there, somebody plug it in. And I had one private message to me. Let me get this. You all are talking a lot about laser cutting. What's that got to do with wood turning? Okay, in our, we don't really have to go to the fence, but it's the same thing. We talk about markers and engravers and burning lines in and paragraph and all. It's just one more way to add accent to the work you do. And I'm playing with some platter things right now. My wife is a big time quilting art master, and I want to put some quilt patterns, the outlines of quilt patterns, into the bottom of the platters, and then try coloring them with acrylics after they're burned in or laser etched in. Gotta stop using the word burned. And to decorate them. It is so nice and easy. And what y'all talked about, I mean, just now Billy was talking about making a rig to put the laser on a tailstock, to put the cold jaws or your Ron Brown's best jaws up against it and put the laser up and engrave it on it. Y'all got me started. I got to figure that one out. I have to do that. It's just not fair. But it's actually a fun thing to add to your work. And as what we saw on Billy's demonstration, and this is on our website, or soon will be,
You can do cups, turn a bowl, turn a bottle stopper. You want to turn a series of bottle stoppers, turn them alike and put them on there. You can make a stem adjustment so where you can screw it onto, it's a 1/4-20 now, but I found the adapter at the hardware store goes 1/4-20 to 3/8-16, and I screw it right on there. And this is using a really cheap kit. Screw it right on there, and I can laser engrave the outside of that piece and put to Uncle Bob 2021 or pop the top or whatever you want to put on it. That's what you can do. You can add it to the work you turn out, personalize them. We got a few minutes to do gallery, but before we do that, here's a question for you. What are you going to do in 22? That's it. What are you going to do in 22? That's going to be our theme for next year. What are you going to do in 22? And give it away, Jay. Bring it back, Jack. What are you turning, you son of a gun? We will have different themes throughout the year because we do things for others. We do a fantastic job with Freedom Pens. This year we did an awesome job with the wig stands, and that's going to continue. And then the 2x4 Club, we had a little fun with that also. But what we're doing here is we're hitting you with a live wire to make you think. So when you're in the shop like Bob was, and Bob found some, pardon me, scraps of wood. I can't be saying that. He found some scraps of wood and turned them into birdhouses. Did you ever think about all that stuff you keep throwing in a burn pile? Those are possible projects. If Kim was around right now, she'd be telling you, there's no such thing as scrap wood. It's just incomplete turning projects. So we want to see what you turn. Gallery is important to us because it sparks the imagination of the turners that are members of this club. And we all need a little spark every once in a while. And that's what we're doing. If we have any more any galleries, Dane? Dane,
yeah, we got, again, staying with our worldwide. So we're going to go back across to our pond here and we're going to go see Martin Clarkson. Martin, talk to us.
Uh-oh.
He's coming.
Uh-oh. We got an empty chair.
He's got
sleeping.
He's bringing in something.
He took a nap. He's back. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning over there in Great Britain.
You weren't coming to me, Dane. You were going to Joaquin first.
No, I'd already gotten him. Now we get to watch you set it up, so that's even better.
I've just been making an indoor lamp.
That's pretty.
So this is just a battery bulb that I've bought, so that I can have it inside without having power to it. And then I made a stand up for it this week. There.
Wow.
That's nice.
That is so nice.
That is awesome.
So nice.
Oh, I got to say this. That'll brighten up your life.
Fantastic.
If the power goes out, you still have light.
Yeah, that's nice.
And every single piece is turned, right?
Every piece is turned, yeah.
Is that one of your marketing items, or is this just special for you?
I'm not going to market an indoor one. I'm marketing the outdoor ones because there's nobody nowhere does an outdoor oak lamp. So I am marketing them for outside in the springtime.
Okay.
Oh.
Good turn.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's nothing on the market in oak. There's lots of that style lamp, but predominantly in metalwork.
Right.
So I want to try and market them towards people. In England, we've got a lot of people that are putting porches on, the front of the houses, oak framed porches. And I think the lamps would sell well next to the oak porch.
Right? That way it would match the decor on the external.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Martin, how many hours you got in something like that?
The top, what I've done is I've made all the tops so that they're identical, so they're easy to reproduce. So all these finials, they can be turned all at the same time. So when I set to on the lathe, I can make the component parts for these 5 in a day. And then the next day I can put them all together with a glass in. So it takes me 2 days and I can produce 5 of them.
Wow.
All of the columns are identical. There's another one here, which is the outdoor one. Hasn't got its sides on, but this is the column. Which again is solid oak, but as you can see, the top of this is identical to the one that I've just made for that one.
What wood are you using?
Oak, English oak.
All oak, okay.
All English oak. Yeah. And the bottom for that, to make it the full column, is here, which is in 2 turnings. Oh.
Got some weight to it.
Yeah.
Man.
That's the main column. My lathe will only turn that. That's its maximum length. And then what I've got is a 3-inch tenon on the top here, a collar that fits inside. So any movement in the timber outside can't go anywhere because it would expand into the column that's put inside here. And then there is a 3-inch tenon on the top of that drops in and locks into the collar. So inside there is a steel collar to stop any movement. You'll also see that down the center, there is quite a large hole to allow you to thread the wire, armored cable right the way up through it.
Oh, okay.
And the way that's created is the column is in 2 pieces of oak, 2.5 inch, 2.5 inch, which gives you the 5-inch. And there is a mitre cut through the circular saw before I glue the 2 together. And then it's turned. So that allows me to have a big diamond right the way through the middle. So there's don't need to drill it.
Right.
Good move.
Yeah, you need a pretty long drill bit for that.
Yeah, they take too much doing, but you can see if they're glued up properly, you can barely see a joint. There's the joint that runs up there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's hardly noticeable with the grain.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Martin.
Super.
It's got some weight about it.
Beautiful.
What's the full size one weigh, Martin?
All the way. Well, it's 7 foot to the out pieces that comes out, and it's 9 foot to the top of the finial.
Wow.
No idea about the weight. It's heavy.
Yeah. Nice large post.
Yeah, it's a big post. The bottom half I've had fabricated, and it's a steel bar, a steel cross section, this right on the bottom, and that steel has a 40 mil square box section in the bottom there. So there's a hole drilled in there, and above that is a 40 mil box section that comes up, and it comes halfway up the post, which then stabilizes the whole lot. Because once it's bolted down on the patio, you can't just have a plate on the bottom. So it comes up 2 foot, to stop any movement.
Right.
So inside, the base of the oak is reinforced with steel.
Yeah, that's where a lot of your weight's at, huh?
Yeah.
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 Thank you,
So
sir.
when they come over to the States, you seem to get a lot of wind over there.
Yeah, we got a little wind.
I keep seeing it on the news. You keep losing houses and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Jason tied down tonight, you know, just to make sure we get him back again. All right.
Yeah, it was a
forget to
fun
say-
day at work with all
Thanks,
the power
Martin.
outages and caused by the wind.
All right, thank you, Martin.
you.
Hey, Dean.
Okay, so I've got the little snowman box that I did the video on last week.
It's got that
Sounds
little
good.
nice
snap
pop
to
to
it.
it.
That was really a neat piece of wood to turn. That was really neat.
Yeah, it's just a little piece of hard maple I had picked up at Woodcraft on their clearance table, and it had been sitting out there for ages. So got ready to do this little guy. I thought that'd be the perfect piece of wood to use, and it worked out well.
Great.
Any
nice
finish
piece.
on it?
Got some spray lacquer on it. Did talk my wife into painting the hat and the snowman. I really like the way she kind of, I don't know if you can see it in the photo. It looks like it's a little blown out to me, but she left just the white down on the lid, kind of at a jagged edge around there.
Yeah, it looks good.
So,
The better photographs will be on our website and our newsletter. We had it in tonight's gallery. Beautiful.
anyway, thanks, guys.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Dean.
Right. Got 2 or 3
All
minutes
right,
left.
Eddie,
Dane,
back
who
to
we
you.
got?
Well, we're back on you. At the moment, we don't have anybody else. We had a good night. We had a good turnout for gallery tonight.
We sure did. A lot of nice pieces.
24, we got 25 people.
Wow.
A lot of nice.
Now, if you're coming in late, folks, and you've missed it, Dane joined the Brenda Band-Aid Brigade this week.
I was just going to ask about that.
And he used his head to do it.
Yeah, you know, non-turning related.
We tease about that. Brenda Thornton is our Band-Aid Brigade leader. She's a little under the weather tonight. She's kind of laid low. But and hope you're feeling better, Brenda, next week. We're back next week, and got to mention that we are going to be here Wednesday evening again from 6 p.m. Central until exactly 9 p.m. We pull the plug. Otherwise, you guys are going all night long. And we don't want you to miss anything. We do our video gallery at 7 p.m. Central. And we have our safety moment just before that. Next week, Mr. John Brown is going to be with us as our guest demonstrator. We have to start that demonstration earlier because John's clock of where he can go in and work has changed. Or is set, but it's not set to our timeline. So John's going to join us next week and do a demonstration. And then following that, we're going to get another demonstration about how to set up your camera, your microphone, your video recorder, your whatever you need like that that's got to move around. I'm working on it, and my lathe's gonna be right behind me when the muscle shows up and puts it in. And look, I got shelves in place, I got benches in place, I got new outlets coming through, and everything's waiting on that big white monster to show up. But I have to get cameras for what I want to do. I want to get cameras that I can move around to get the best shots for you. That's what we're talking with next week with Matt Harbor. He's going to show us his and how it's built. And it's something you can do. That's why we're going to share it with you. And if you got something like that or something you want to share with us, you can just join in. All right, with that, it's time for us to pull the plug. Folks, I hope you and yours have a very great day. And you play safe. That's the important part. We want you to play safe. Until next Wednesday evening, I'm Captain Eddie Castle on behalf of worldwidewoodturners.org. I'll see you next week. Please be safe.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, everyone.
Man, I wish I could get my wife to let me set up a shop in the house.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
shop
like,
is
Jason.
gone.
How'd you work that out, Captain Eddie? How'd you work that out?
I trained a tornado to hit right on top of it. That was the hard part.
Cheaper to bring it inside than to build a new shop, right, Eddie?
Exactly.
Hey, Eddie, just so I'm clear about the articulated arm thing, I'm not gonna build anything. I'm just gonna take mine apart and show you all how it's built, how it's put together.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you're just gonna, you're just gonna show us if you want to take the easy way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
I
know.
thought he was gonna build one. He was gonna build one and
you were
donate it to
asking-
Eddie.
You were
Is what I
asking
thought
for
was
quick
gonna
and dirty
happen.
little demos, and that's what this is. It's quick.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
well, you can take them apart as you're boxing them up to send to Captain Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the beauties of these things, one of these beauties
How
of these
about that?
things
Do you
is
see how that morphed?
one of the beauties of these is that they're totally customizable. So you figure out how much distance you want to cover, and then you build the arms the length appropriately for them. And you can, if you decide that you want to put it somewhere else and you want to shorten it or lengthen it, you just make different arms. Two of the arms different, and then just screw them in. And it's the one I'm using for my overhead cam is got some. I'll go over it all, but it's got some interesting. I did some serious thinking on it before I built it, and looked at some of the the lamps, how they're made, and that kind of stuff. And I simplified a lot of things, and I'll walk you guys through why I built it the way I built it. So it's kind of a unique construction specifically for that function. So
right.
All right. Look forward to it next week, sir. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Again, folks, time to say good night. Be sure you save the chat.
Good night.
See you next week. Good night.
Good night, Captain. Everybody have a great week.
All right.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Stay safe, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, Doug.
The turning monster.
It's a mess in here.
It's nice to know that I'm
Looking
not
good,
the only one that's usually turning during the Zoom meeting.
But yeah, because I've been so busy during the week that I'm like, okay, if I set enough time to come out to the meeting, I guess I might as well turn something while I'm out here.
Yeah, well, tonight's the first night I've been out to my shop in probably a week.
Oh wow.
So yeah, just everything else going on, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it
Always
seems like
something.
it gets harder and harder to get time in the shop for me.
Yeah. All righty, y'all have a good one.
Yeah, you too.